Chapter 3394. Arrogant brat, you don't even know that you're about to die. Seeing Emo Qingyun's fearless appearance, Yao Xian's expression darkened as he spoke angrily. Originally, he thought that Emo Qingyun would definitely be scared out of his wits when he saw their lineup. But the reality was too different from what he had imagined. Yao Xian, there's no need to speak with him. Just deal with him directly. Seeing how furious Yao Xian was, that early-stage God Emperor comforted him before saying, "Let me deal with this brat. The few of you should deal with that girl. At the same time, enter the palace and fight for the sacred war seed." "Alright," Yao Xian replied. He then put on a respectful posture and said, "In that case, we'll have to trouble clan brother Yao Ning." As soon as Yao Xian finished speaking, his figure flashed as he charged over with Yao Huang and the others. Seeing these people coming, Emo Qingyun's lips curled up slightly. His eyes flashed with a hint of mockery. "It's good that you guys came together. I've prepared a big gift for you." As Emo Qingyun spoke, he raised his hand and summoned a specter. This ghost god emitted a powerful aura the moment it was summoned. But because its body was severely damaged, it could no longer display any combat power. A half-destroyed God King Realm Ghost God. Is this what you're relying on? Seeing Emo Qingyun's ghost god, Yao Xian curled his lips in disdain and said, "If you're relying on this ghost god, you won't stand a chance." Emo Qingyun didn't care about Yao Xian's words. He pulled Qian Linglong and retreated. As Emo Qingyun retreated, he controlled the ghost god to charge toward Yao Xian and the others. Explode. When the ghost god got close to Yao Xian and the others, he made it self-destruct, creating a terrifying storm of divine power. Yao Xian and the others were caught off guard and were engulfed by the storm of divine power. They felt a strong impact. "Damn brat, I won't let you off. Despicable brat, do you know how to use such a method?" Hit by the storm of divine power, Yao Xian and the others roared madly. Emo Qingyun did not care about this at all. He detonated the specter deity to trap Yao Xian and the others. Then, he said to Qian Linglong, who was beside him, "Linglong, you go and protect Purple Locks. I will hold them back for a while." After hearing Emo Qingyun's instructions, Qian Linglong looked at Yao Ning and finally nodded. Based on her understanding of Emo Qingyun, since Emo Qingyun said so, he must have something to rely on. Qian Linglong's figure flashed as she flew toward the entrance of the palace. After asking Qian Linglong to step aside, Emo Qingyun smiled faintly and said, "Do you think I can't do anything just because you found an Emperor God expert?" Seeing Emo Qingyun looking down on him once again, Yao Ning was somewhat displeased. He angrily said, "Brat, it's useless to only have a sharp tongue. Whether or not I can do anything to you, you will soon know." Divine Healing Sacred Sect. As soon as Yao Ning finished speaking, he unleashed his natural mystique to increase the duration of his battle. Very quickly, a white door of light appeared and enveloped Yao Ning. When he saw Yao Ning's actions, Emo Qingyun curled his lips in disdain and said, "You made yourself sound so powerful. In the end, you are fighting a sky celestial and still want to fight a battle of attrition. What a joke." As Emo Qingyun spoke, he did not hesitate and a door of light appeared in his palm. Seal. After the sealed door was formed, Emo Qingyun blasted it with his palm and sent it flying toward Yao Ning. When he saw Emo Qingyun's actions, Yao Ning's expression changed. He was puzzled and asked, "What kind of mystique is this? It doesn't seem to be the great heavenly sacred sect's natural mystique. Where did this brat come from? Could what Yao Xian and the others said be true? Could there really be a 10th heaven sacred sect?" Yao Ning was very puzzled in his heart, but his vigilance towards Emo Qingyun also increased a little because of this. Although Emo Qingyun's cultivation level was not high, he was very strange and could not be underestimated. This brat's natural mystique is different from the previous one. Where did this brat come from? He can actually use natural mystiques of different attribute. No matter what, this brat can't be left alive. Yao Xian and the others shouted coldly. Although they were angry, they did not hesitate and flew toward Qian Linglong. When Mo Qingyun noticed Yao Xian and the others' actions, he did not hesitate and summoned another demon deity. After summoning the demon deity, Mo Qingyun made it fly toward Yao Xian and the others. It looked like it was going to self-destruct. Damn brat, he actually wants to use this move again. When he saw Mo Qingyun's actions, Yao Xian was so angry that his face turned green and he clenched his fists tightly. Although he was angry, he was also very wary and his body clearly stopped moving. He had not recovered from the injury that he had suffered earlier. Brat, you dare to be distracted while fighting with me? You're courting death. When he saw Mo Qingyun's actions, Yao Ning shouted angrily and raised his hand to attack the sealed door. However, to his surprise, his palm actually managed to penetrate through the sealed gate when he was about to smash it toward it. Then, he saw the gate of sealing entering his body. What's going on? Seeing this abnormal scene, Yao Ning was shocked and a strong sense of uneasiness rose in his heart. Just now, when Mo Qingyun used the sealed door, he clearly felt a sense of danger. But now, his full-force attack was unable to harm the sealed door. This was far too abnormal. Before Yao Ning could recover, he clearly felt that his divine power, precepts, divine soul, and divine body were all sealed by a force. Immediately, the aura that Yao Ning emitted began to weaken rapidly. His natural mystique is a seal. Sensing the situation in his body, Yao Ning's pupils shrank and a hint of surprise appeared in his eyes. This situation was too shocking for him. Soon, the aura that Yao Ning emitted fell to the level of a half-step emperor god. Sensing that his cultivation level had fallen, Yao Ning was immediately shocked and showed a panicked look. The fall of one's cultivation level was a terrifying thing to anyone. Yao Xian and the others at the side quickly noticed that Yao Ning's aura had fallen. What's going on? Why did Brother Yao Ning's aura weaken? Brother Yao Ning's cultivation level has fallen. Could it be that brat's doing? That brat is too strange. If he really did it, he's too scary. This brat must not be left alive. Otherwise, it will be a nightmare. Ignore this woman. Kill that brat with all your strength. Yao Xian and the others exclaimed and flew toward Mo Qingyun. Seeing Yao Xian and the others' actions, Qian Linglong's beautiful eyes frowned and she felt worried for Mo Qingyun. Then, she prepared to fly over to share Mo Qingyun's burden. However, before Qian Linglong could move, Mo Qingyun waved at her and said, "No need to help. I can handle it." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qian Linglong struggled in her heart and accepted Mo Qingyun's instructions. Chapter 3395. After telling Qian Linglong not to attack, Mo Qingyun summoned another demon god and sent it flying towards Yao Xian and the others. After suffering 2 losses in a row, Yao Xian and the others were traumatized by the demon gods. Now that they saw the demon gods attacking again, they immediately retreated like birds, startled by the twang of a bow. Once Yao Xian and the others retreated, Mo Qingyun's situation took a turn for the better. He easily resolved the crisis in front of him. Where did this kid come from? Why does he have so many godly king realm demon gods? If he explodes a few more times, he won't even need to do anything. I'll be dead by now. What do we do now? We can't drag this out any longer. Let's attack again. I don't believe that he has more demon gods. Yao Xian and the others discussed for a while, then their figures flashed and they charged towards Mo Qingyun again. While charging towards Mo Qingyun, Yao Xian's face darkened and he roared, "Kid, I don't believe that your godly king realm demon gods are unlimited." Hearing Yao Xian's words, the smile on Mo Qingyun's face widened. "Although it's not a lot, it's enough to deal with you." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, He raised his hand and summoned another demon deity. A few destroyed godly king realm demon gods wouldn't be of much use to them. He might as well make use of them this time. Seeing the appearance of another godly king realm demon god, Yao Xian and the others' faces changed drastically. They immediately stopped attacking Mo Qingyun. They didn't expect that Mo Qingyun actually had more demon gods. This was beyond their expectations. Boom! Another loud explosion was heard. Under the impact of the godly king realm demon god's self-destruction, Yao Xian and the others' injuries immediately worsened. As their injuries worsened, their innate mystiques were recovering, and they were starting to feel powerless. If this continued, their foundation might be damaged. When they thought of this, Yao Xian and the others revealed some fear on their faces. Mo Qingyun was far more difficult to deal with than they expected. While Yao Xian and the others were having headaches, Yao Ning was also feeling depressed. Her heart was filled with panic. The seal in his body had yet to be undone, and it showed no signs of weakening. From the looks of it, it seemed that his cultivation, which had been sealed by Mo Qingyun, would not be able to recover any time soon. After withstanding the attacks of Yao Xian and the others, the corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth curled up slightly. He smiled faintly and said, "It seems like you guys don't have any other skills. Then I'll start my counterattack." As soon as Mo Qingyun spoke, a glowing door condensed in his palm. Seeing the door of light in Mo Qingyun's hand, Yao Ning's expression immediately trembled. He hurriedly said, "Everyone be careful. This divine ability of his is very strange. It can seal other people's cultivation." Hearing Yao Ning's reminder, Yao Xian and the others jumped in fright, each of them trembling in fear. Just now, Yao Ning had been hit by this divine ability. They had clearly seen it, and it still hadn't been removed. Soon after, Yao Xian and the others hurriedly retreated, putting some distance between themselves and Mo Qingyun. Seeing Yao Xian and the others' reaction, Mo Qingyun curled his lips in disdain. He said, "It was just a joke. Why did you have to take it so seriously?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Yao Xian and the others were immediately enraged. They were so angry that they gnashed their teeth. Soon after, they no longer retreated and began to attack Mo Qingyun. Seeing Yao Xian and the others attack, the corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth curled up slightly. He said with a smile, although it was a joke, it could also be true. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he revealed a mocking expression as he looked at the approaching Yao Xian and the others. Mo Qingyun's behavior caused the expressions of Yao Xian and the others to become more serious. It was difficult to distinguish between the real and the fake. This was too torturous. Whether it's true or not, we won't retreat anymore. Your divine ability can only attack one person. If we attack together, we can definitely capture and kill you. That's right. Attack together. No need to be afraid of him. Yao Xian shouted angrily. They charged towards Mo Qingyun together aggressively. However, just as they took a step, their bodies stiffened. They saw that Mo Qingyun took out another divine king realm ghost immortal. Furthermore, the aura was even more powerful. Looking at this situation, Yao Xian and the others collapsed. It couldn't be like this. This was clearly cheating. This was a divine king realm ghost immortal. How could it be exhausted like this? At this moment, what made Yao Xian and the others even more anxious and desperate was that Kong Xian's cultivation was resolved. They actually came again. Walking out of the palace, Kong Xian's brows furrowed. His face gradually darkened. These guys from Light Heaven Holy Clan were really too much. They really thought that Kong Xian Heaven Holy Clan was easy to bully. Sizing up Yao Xian and the others, Kong Xian moved and charged towards them. He said, "Linglong, let's attack together and teach them a lesson. Let them understand that others may be afraid of Light Heaven Holy Clan, but Kong Xian Heaven Holy Clan isn't." Hearing Kong Xian's words, Qian Linglong's figure flashed and charged towards Yao Xian and the others. If it wasn't for the fact that she had to protect Kong Xian, she would have already helped Mo Qingyun. Now that Kong Xian's cultivation was over, she naturally couldn't just watch from the sidelines. The cultivation is over. Looking at Kong Xian, who was approaching, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and asked with concern. Kong Xian nodded and said, "Although my cultivation level hasn't completely stabilized, it shouldn't be a problem for me to fight with others. It just so happens that I have a breakthrough in my cultivation level. I need some sparring partners to adapt to my combat strength." After saying that, Kong Xian charged towards Yao Xian, ready to use him as a sparring partner. Seeing Kong Xian's actions, Mo Qingyun lifted his finger and pointed at Yao Ning. He said, "This one is the strongest among them. He is more suitable for you as a sparring partner." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Kong Xian immediately gave up on Yao Xian and charged towards Yao Ning. When they saw Kong Xian's actions, Yao Xian and Yao Ning felt a strong sense of gloominess. Yao Xian was depressed because he had been underestimated, while Yao Ning was depressed because of a strong opponent. Soon, Kong Xian and Yao Ning stood side by side and instantly suppressed Yao Ning. Seeing that Yao Ning was suppressed, Mo Qingyun looked at Yao Xian and the others and said, "It seems that you guys are really lucky. Kong Xian actually broke through so quickly. In that case, there is no point in continuing to play. Let's end the battle." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he activated the line of law and the aura that he exuded suddenly soared. Soon, 40,000 line of law appeared above Mo Qingyun. Seeing Mo Qingyun's line of law, Kong Xian was immediately stunned. Her beautiful eyes widened as she exclaimed, 40,000 line of law. I didn't expect that he actually hid his strength when he fought with Jiao Qingshi previously." Under Kong Xian's shocked gaze, Mo Qingyun's figure moved and charged towards Yao Xian and the others. Now, his aura was completely different from before. Not only was it powerful, but it was more of a showy edge. Chapter 3396. However, it's only 40,000 strands of precept. It's not enough for me. Looking at Mo Qingyun's strands of precept, Yao Xian snorted and did not take it to heart. However, his expression quickly changed and a strong shock emerged in his eyes. The power of Mo Qingyun's palm was even stronger than Yao Ning's. This really shocked him. No, this is impossible. How can he be so strong? Seeing Mo Qingyun's display of strength, Yao Xian's eyes widened and he found it hard to believe. Then, with shock and confusion, he was sent flying by Mo Qingyun's palm. After sending Yao Xian flying with one palm strike, Mo Qingyun revealed a faint smile. He said, "Earlier, I did not use my full power to force them back mainly because I was worried that you would find new helpers when you returned and affect Purple Lox's cultivation. Now that the cultivation is over, I don't have to worry about this anymore. Naturally, I don't have to hold back anymore." After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he attacked Yao Meng and the others, intending to finish them off. Bang! When Mo Qingyun attacked Yao Meng and the others, Kong Xian slapped out with a palm, directly sending Yao Ning flying. Yao Ning was sent flying by Kong Xian's palm. Without hesitation, he hurriedly said, "They are very strong. We are no match for them. Run." After Yao Ning said that, he fled 10,000 meters away. His attitude was extremely firm. Seeing that Yao Ning, who was the strongest, fled without hesitation, Yao Xian and the others did not dare to stay. Then, they all turned around and fled, following closely behind Yao Ning. Mo Qingyun did not chase after Yao Xian and the others who fled. Instead, he came before the two women. After sensing Kong Xian's situation, Mo Qingyun showed a curious expression and asked, "How do you feel? Are there any changes to your body?" "No changes." Kong Xian shook her head and said, "The only thing I feel is that my strength has become much stronger and my body's recovery has become stronger." Hearing Kong Xian's words, Emo Qingyun had a rough understanding of her situation. All the treasures here have been cleared. Let's continue our journey. As soon as Emo Qingyun finished speaking, he walked down the mountain and led the way for the two women. He said, "Since our previous idea was correct, we should follow my plan for the rest of the journey." Regarding Emo Qingyun's suggestion, Kong Zi and two girls did not object. The previous situation told them that Emo Qingyun's method was correct. For the rest of the journey, the situation was the same. Emo Qingyun and the other two encountered quite a few big and small tribes. However, all of them had been used by others to enter first and empty out all the treasures inside. Qian Linglong revealed a hesitant expression when she heard this. She asked, "It seems that there is a group of people in front of us who have snatched our opportunity. If we continue like this, I'm afraid we won't be able to gain anything. We'll only be wasting time." Kong Zian nodded and felt that Qian Linglong's words made sense. Emo Qingyun shook his head and said, "According to my observation, this group of people should not have gone far. If we speed up, we might overtake them. At that time, they will be eating our dust and won't be able to gain anything." Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Qian Linglong and Kong Zian were hesitant. They felt that it was a little risky. Firstly, even if they sped up, they might not be able to overtake the people in front of them. Secondly, they did not know who was in front of them. What if the other party was very strong and they offended the other party and were no match for the other party? Looking at the two women's reactions, Emo Qingyun gave them a comforting look and said, "Don't think too much. Maybe the other party's strength is not as strong as Yao Xian and the others. Moreover, if we change paths now, we might not be able to gain anything." Seeing Emo Qingyun's insistence, Qian Linglong did not say anything more and followed Emo Qingyun's decision. "Let's continue," Emo Qingyun said and increased his speed by 10%. Next, Emo Qingyun and the other two rushed forward at full speed, trying to overtake the people in front of them. About a day later, Emo Qingyun and the other two arrived at another tribe. It was a tribe that was well preserved. "I hope the treasures in this tribe have not been taken by those people yet," Emo Qingyun said with anticipation. He did not stop and walked toward the peak of the mountain. After a while, Emo Qingyun and the other two arrived at the peak of the mountain and saw a complete palace. Judging from the current situation, the treasures here should still be here. After Emo Qingyun said this, he took the lead and walked toward a palace and started to loot the tribe. Seeing Emo Qingyun's actions, Qian Linglong and Kong Zian did not delay and immediately went to the other palaces. Following this, Emo Qingyun and the other two went through the palaces and looted them one after another. About half an hour later, Emo Qingyun and the other two had visited all the palaces on the top of the mountain. "It's a pity that we didn't encounter any seeds of the sacred war." After asking the two girls about their gains, Emo Qingyun shook his head in disappointment. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Kong Zian did not know whether to laugh or cry. "Do you think the seeds of the sacred war are cabbages that you can get as many as you want?" Emo Qingyun chuckled and did not refute. If that was the case, the domination body of heaven and earth would not be rare. Emo Qingyun and the other two talked for a while, then they walked down the mountain and prepared to go to the next place. Just as Emo Qingyun and the others were about to leave, a group of people came to the top of the mountain. Seeing this group of people, Emo Qingyun's expression changed as he recognized them. Kong Ran. Emo Qingyun recognized Kong Ran. He showed a thoughtful expression and said, "So it's you people who have been walking in front of us." At this moment, Emo Qingyun and the other two had a clear answer to their doubts. "Let's go." After glancing at Kong Ran and the others, Emo Qingyun ignored them and walked directly down the mountain. Seeing that Emo Qingyun and the other two were about to leave, Kong Ran's face darkened and he shouted at Emo Qingyun, "Wait, we haven't settled the score between us yet. Do you think you can leave so easily?" As he spoke, he moved and blocked Emo Qingyun's path. Blocked by Kong Ran, Emo Qingyun stopped and said, "Are you sure you want to settle the score with me? Aren't you afraid that a new one will come before the old one is settled?" That depends on your ability." Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Kong Ran's face darkened and a strong anger arose. As soon as he finished speaking, he emitted an aura that pressed toward Emo Qingyun. Feeling the aura of Kong Ran, Emo Qingyun was startled. He was a little surprised that his strength had improved. Kong Ran had actually advanced to the middle stage God Emperor realm. This was too unexpected. Chapter 3397. Middle Stage God Emperor. This guy seems to have had many fortuitous encounters after entering the Holy War continent. Sensing Kong Ran's cultivation, Emo Qingyun was very surprised. Kong Ran's cultivation had broken through too fast. Even with his cultivation speed, he was still somewhat lacking compared to Kong Ran. Other than Kong Ran, the two people beside him were also very strong. These two were Yuan Ruiying from the Great Elder Long Yuan residence, an early-stage God Emperor, and the second prince, Kong He. "What should we do now?" Seeing Kong Ran blocking the way, Kong Xian rubbed his fists and asked Emo Qingyun for his opinion. Looking at her performance, it seemed that she would rush out without hesitation if Emo Qingyun said to fight. Hearing Kong Xian's words, Emo Qingyun said indifferently, "From the current situation, it's impossible to escape. It seems that we can only fight with them." As soon as Emo Qingyun said his plan, Kong Xian couldn't wait and said, "Yao Ning was too weak before. I didn't even warm up. Leave Kong Ran to me. I need such an opponent as a sparring partner." Hearing Kong Xian's request, Emo Qingyun was a little hesitant. He wondered if he should let him fight with Yuan Ruiying first. After all, Kong Ran was still very strong and had broken through to the middle stage God Emperor realm. If Kong Xian fought with him, he might not be able to gain an advantage. However, since Kong Xian had asked, Emo Qingyun couldn't refuse immediately. He said, "Kong Ran is very strong. Go and fight with him. If you feel that you can't beat him, don't force yourself too much. Just leave him to me." Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Kong Xian nodded and flew towards Kong Ran, saying, "Kong Ran, it's not glorious even if you win against someone 2 realms higher than you. Let me fight with you." After saying that, she took the initiative to attack without waiting for Kong Xian's response. Facing Kong Xian's attack, Kong Ran was livid. She was furious and said, "Kong Xian, I've tolerated you for a long time. Today, I'll tell you, don't think I don't dare to do anything to you just because you're a saintess." Kong Ran bellowed angrily. His figure flickered as he charged toward Kong Xian. Seeing Kong Ran and the saintess attack, Yuan Ruiying sneered and said, "Let's not be idle. Let's practice with Mr. Mo and the Linglong saintess." "That's exactly what I was thinking." Kong He laughed and nodded. Following that, the two of them charged towards Emo Qingyun and his companion. Their movements were straightforward and ruthless. Emo Qingyun's eyes turned cold when he saw Yuan Ruiying's duo. "Gentlemen, this is a conflict between us and Kong Ran. Do you have to get involved?" As Emo Qingyun spoke, he took a step forward towards Yuan Ruiying. However, Qian Linglong was one step ahead of him. She also rushed towards Yuan Ruiying and said, "Leave him to me. I also need a strong opponent to stimulate my opportunity to break through to the Divine Emperor realm." Knowing Qian Linglong's thoughts, Emo Qingyun handed Yuan Ruiying over to her and said, "They must have gained a lot of benefits from being with Kong Ran. You should be careful when fighting with him." "Okay." Qian Linglong nodded. She remembered Emo Qingyun's reminder and stood with Yuan Ruiying. After reminding Qian Linglong, Emo Qingyun looked at Kong He and said, "No wonder Kong Ran could become the first prince. It turns out that you, the second prince, are even more useless. You've fallen to become someone else's lackey and do things according to their wishes." Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Kong He's face immediately darkened. He was furious. Emo Qingyun's words were too humiliating. Although Kong He was very angry in his heart, he did not erupt either. He said, "Don't try to sow discord. I won't fall for this kind of petty trick." Seeing Kong Hee's attitude, the smile on Emo Qingyun's face became wider. He said, "I originally thought that you were willing to work yourself to the bone for Kong Ran just because the situation forced you to. Only now did I discover that I was thinking too much. You're too naive. You just like to work yourself to the bone like a lackey." If Emo Qingyun's words were implicit, then now it was open and aboveboard. "You're courting death." Seeing Emo Qingyun's words become more and more unpleasant, Kong Hee finally could not suppress his anger anymore. For a long time, Kong Ran's suppression of him had been a thorn in his heart. This time, he acted together with Kong Ran. It was also the result of Kong Ran roping him in. Kong Ran asked him to help deal with Emo Qingyun together and promised him a lot of benefit. For example, not long ago, Kong Ran led the two of them to a tribe and reaped a great harvest. In that tribe, Kong Ran and Yuan Ruiying's cultivation had improved even further. Kong Hee roared, his attack was fierce, and he looked like he was going to fight with his life on the line. Looking at Kong Hee's performance, Emo Qingyun sneered, curled his lips in disdain, and said, "With your little strength, you're not even as good as Kong Ran in the Holy War qualification battle. You want to fight me? You really don't know your own limits. No wonder you're only fit to be a lackey. Since you've chosen to be a lackey, then you should obediently lie on the ground." As Emo Qingyun's words fell, his attack also became fierce, and his aura immediately soared. Above Emo Qingyun, 40,000 law threads condensed at an extremely fast speed, exuding a monstrous power. 40,000! Looking at the law threads released by Emo Qingyun, Kong Hee's pupils shrank, and a strong shock arose in his heart. In the Holy War qualification battle, Emo Qingyun only had 30,000 law threads, but he defeated Kong Ran. Now, Emo Qingyun had condensed 40,000 law threads, so wouldn't it be easy to crush him? Divine Thunder Dragon Transformation Wave! Emo Qingyun roared angrily, and blasted a palm at Kong Hee, divine power madly converging in his palm. Immediately after, a black lightning dragon with monstrous aura pounced towards Kong Hee. When the Thunder Dragon pounced on Kong Hee, 40,000 law threads instantly merged, causing the Thunder Dragon's aura to soar. So strong, this aura fluctuation has reached the level of a divine emperor. Sensing the Black Thunder Dragon's aura, Kong Hee's heart went cold, his eyes widened, and his body trembled slightly. The strength Emo Qingyun displayed now was beyond the scope of his resistance. Kong Hee's mind was no match, so he immediately turned around and fled to save his life without the slightest hesitation. It was just that his reaction was still one step too slow. Before he could move, the Black Thunder Dragon approached, forcing him to take action to resist. Bang! The Black Thunder Dragon collided with Kong Hee, and a burst of power erupted, suppressing him like Mount Tai. Then, Kong Hee's body flew out upside down and crashed heavily to the ground. When the dust cloud dispersed, Kong Hee was half dead, lying motionless in the pit. Looking at his appearance, even if he was not killed, he was in a half-crippled state and had lost the ability to fight again. Chapter 3398. How is this possible? With Kong Hee's strength, he was actually completely crushed by him. Perceiving Kong Hee's situation, Yuan Ruiying was frightened and showed a somewhat flustered state. He did not expect that after not seeing him for a while, Emo Qingyun was actually powerful to such an extent. On his side, it was already very strenuous for him to fight with Qian Linglong. Now that Emo Qingyun crushed Kong Hee, if he came to help Qian Linglong, he would be in a bad situation. While Yuan Ruiying was worried, Kong Ran, who was fighting with Kong Xian, also had a dark look on his face. He expected that Emo Qingyun's strength would improve very quickly, but he did not expect him to improve so rapidly. In such a short time, without his cultivation base skyrocketing, his strength leaped by leaps and bounds. Seeing Emo Qingyun's strength, Kong Ran could no longer maintain his composure. He looked at Kong Xian coldly and said, Kong Xian, I'll remind you one last time, if you don't move aside, don't blame me for being ruthless. Humph. If you want me to back off, then show me some real ability. Kong Xian paid no attention to Kong Rant's warning, and instead attacked even more fiercely. Seeing Kong Xian's move, Kong Rant's face darkened and he said, This is someone who asked for it, then don't blame me. As soon as Kong Rant's words fell, a long sword surrounded by blood chi appeared in his hand. God-slaying blood demon sword. Seeing the sword in Kong Rant's hand, even Yuan Ruiying's expression was greatly shocked, his eyes wide open. During the Holy War qualification battle, Kong Qinglu had already ordered to confiscate Kong Rant's god-slaying blood demon sword. Unexpectedly, the god-slaying blood demon sword was still in his hands. This was too surprising. When Kong Ran took out the god-slaying blood demon sword, the aura he exuded immediately became a bit colder. At the same time, a strong killing intent also radiated from his body. Feeling Kong Rant's killing intent and looking at the god-slaying blood demon sword in his hand, Kong Xian's pretty face tightened. She knew very well that from this moment on, Kong Ran was going to use force. Thinking of this, Kong Xian perked up 120% and raised a strong vigilance. Now that he and Kong Ran were fighting, it was no longer a simple exchange of pointers, but a real life-and-death battle. The god-slaying blood demon sword is still in his hands. Looking at the god-slaying blood demon sword in Kong Ran's hand, Emo Qingyun frowned and couldn't help but analyze. With Kong Ran's current strength, he probably has the ability to unlock the third seal of the god-slaying blood demon sword. By then, when he activates the god-slaying blood demon sword, he would likely be able to unleash a terrifying strength comparable to a late-stage god emperor. Emo Qingyun's heart sank when he thought of this. The situation didn't look too good. Kong Ran didn't have the god-slaying blood demon sword and was only slightly stronger. It wasn't too difficult to deal with him. But Kong Ran, who had activated the god-slaying blood demon sword, had become very difficult to deal with. More importantly, if Kong Ran forcibly broke the seal, he might be devoured by the god-slaying blood demon sword and become its puppet. Empyrean purple locks die. As Emo Qingyun pondered, Kong Ran slashed at Kong Xian with the god-slaying blood demon sword. Seeing this, Emo Qingyun's expression tensed. Not good, Purple Locks is in danger. Emo Qingyun could see that Kong Xian would definitely be seriously injured by Kong Ran's slash. Immediately, Emo Qingyun didn't want to watch anymore and immediately stopped Kong Ran. Door of Death. Emo Qingyun flipped his palm, and a black door of light quickly condensed and blasted toward Kong Ran. As soon as the black door of light left his palm, it rapidly expanded and fused with 40,000 law threads. Soon, the Gate of Death arrived in front of Kong Xian, blocking Kong Ran's path. Hong! A loud sound was heard. Kong Ran, who was attacking Kong Xian with his sword, was enveloped by the Door of Death. After trapping Kong Xian in the Door of Death, Emo Qingyun said with a nervous expression, "The Door of Death can't trap him. Kong Xian, quickly retreat." As Emo Qingyun spoke, his figure flashed towards Kong Ran to meet him. As Emo Qingyun approached, Kong Xian quickly retreated and hid behind Emo Qingyun. Bang! Under Kong Ran's attack, the Door of Death instantly exploded and turned back into a mass of divine power. Coming out of the Door of Death, Kong Ran showed a bloodthirsty expression and said, "Today, none of you can get away with it. Die, all of you." As soon as he finished speaking, his figure flashed and he slashed at Emo Qingyun with his sword. Seeing Kong Ran slashing at him, Emo Qingyun didn't dare to take it head-on and immediately dodged. While Emo Qingyun was dodging, he was not to be outdone. "Kong Ran, I thought that your cultivation base should have improved a lot this time. It turns out that you're still relying on this sword. It seems that in the depths of your heart, this sword is the source of your strength. Without this sword, you're just a piece of trash." Upon hearing Emo Qingyun's mocking words, Kong Ran's face turned livid with anger. He roared, "Emo Qingyun, Don't think you can provoke me with this. I'll kill these two women first, then I'll deal with you slowly. As soon as he finished speaking, he waved the god-slaying blood demon sword and slashed at Qian Linglong. Seeing Kong Ran's move, Mo Qingyun's face turned livid with anger. He said, Kong Ran, since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. Mo Qingyun roared angrily. He activated 5,000 nomological threads, and the aura he exuded increased a bit. Divine Thunder Dragon Wave. Under Mo Qingyun's attack, a huge black thunder dragon flew toward Kong Ran. With the support of 45,000 nomological threads, the aura of the black thunder dragon immediately increased by several notches. In the face of the black thunder dragon's attack, Kong Ran didn't dare to ignore it and immediately slashed at it with his sword. Immediately, his slash at Qian Linglong was forcibly interrupted. Blood stained the heavens. Kong Ran slashed with his sword and blasted out a blood-red light at the black thunder dragon. The blood-red sword light flashed and hit the lightning dragon, blocking the black lightning dragon's attack. Crack, crack, crack. Under the attack of the blood-red sword light, cracks appeared on the black thunder dragon's superpower. In a short while, the black thunder dragon couldn't withstand the sword light's attack and collapsed bit by bit in the air. So strong. Seeing the power of Kong Ran's sword, Mo Qingyun was shocked and became a bit more wary of Kong Ran. Now that Kong Ran's strength had greatly increased, the god-slaying blood demon sword in his hand truly displayed its ferocious power. Understanding the power of the god-slaying blood demon sword, Mo Qingyun said without hesitation, Linglong, Xian, leave this place first. I'll meet up with you two after I've dealt with Kong Ran. Hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, Kong Xian showed a hesitant expression, but Qian Linglong quickly made a decision. I'll wait for you at the foot of the mountain. If you don't come down, I won't leave even if I die. As soon as Qian Linglong finished speaking, she flew down the mountain without any hesitation. Seeing Qian Linglong's action, Kong Xian didn't say anything and left with her. Chapter 3399. Don't worry, when I beat him, I'll go down to find you. Looking at Qian Linglong's back, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and answered casually. Looking at him, it was as if defeating Kong Ran was a very simple matter. Death is at hand and you still don't know it. Mo Qingyun's performance made Kong Ran angry, and his face became even colder. However, although he was very angry, he did not stop Qian Linglong and the other girl. Seeing that Kong Ran did not stop Qian Linglong and the other girl, Mo Qingyun's mood was relieved. This was a good situation. Facing Kong Ran's cold gaze, Mo Qingyun did not care at all, and said with a little impatience, Linglong is still waiting at the foot of the mountain. If you want to do it, hurry up. After teaching you a lesson, go find her. Looking at Mo Qingyun's performance, Kong Ran was completely angry and could no longer keep calm. Mo Qingyun was too arrogant. This feeling of being despised by Mo Qingyun was hard for Kong Ran to accept. Courting death, Kong Ran roared, holding the god-slaying blood demon sword. He launched an attack on Mo Qingyun. As soon as Kong Ran slashed out, the god-slaying blood demon sword erupted with terrifying power, slashing out a terrifying blood-colored sword light. Blood stained the sky. The sword light slashed out, blooming with dazzling light, reflecting half of the sky red. With the bombardment of the sword light, the sky began to collapse, as if it could not bear its power. Facing Kong Ran's attack, Mo Qingyun was not afraid at all, and directly punched out. Divine Thunder Dragon Transformation Wave. As Mo Qingyun punched out, lightning surged on his fist, gathering terrifying divine power. Soon, this divine power fused with 45,000 law threads, turning into a thunder dragon that flew out. Hong dong dong, as the thunder dragon flew, the space trembled as if it was about to shatter. Looking at such a scene, Yuan Ruiying, who was watching from the side, had a look of shock in his eyes. The current strength displayed by Mo Qingyun and Shui Ying had already surpassed his expectations. They had reached a level close to that of a late-stage God Emperor. It was still fine for Kong Ran since he had already broken through to the middle-stage God Emperor realm. What was Mo Qingyun's cultivation level? He was only a middle-stage heavenly god. For a middle-stage heavenly god to erupt with the strength of a late-stage God Emperor, that was slightly frightening. What kind of freak is this guy? How can his strength be so terrifying? Mo Qingyun's strength was beyond common sense, causing Yuan Ruiying's heart to tremble. She couldn't figure it out for a long time. Under Yuan Ruiying's shocked gaze, the sword light slashed the thunder dragon, and a loud noise erupted. Then, a terrifying divine power storm erupted in midair. What a terrifying divine storm! Seeing the divine power storm erupt, Yuan Ruiying's expression trembled, and his figure moved and flew into the sky. Then, he grabbed Kong He and brought him to the side to avoid being engulfed by the divine power storm. After bringing Kong He to one side, the expression on Yuan Ruiying's face became more condensed. He thought, with Mo Qingyun's temperament, I just attacked Qian Linglong. He definitely won't let it go. He has no time to pay attention to me now, but now that he has dealt with Kong Ran, he will definitely find trouble with me. As Yuan Ruiying thought so, his eyes turned cold, and a hint of ruthlessness flashed through. Immediately, his figure flashed, quietly approaching Mo Qingyun. The meaning behind his actions couldn't be more obvious. Seeing Yuan Ruiying's action, Kong Ran quickly understood, and a sinister smile appeared on his face. Then, he no longer hesitated and immediately launched an attack on Mo Qingyun. Facing Kong Ran's powerful attack, Mo Qingyun did not dare to be the slightest bit careless and fought with all his strength. Seeing Mo Qingyun and Kong Ran fighting, the smile on Yuan Ruiying's face unconsciously became wider. In his view, Mo Qingyun did not perceive his careful approach at all. To be precise, it was useless even if Mo Qingyun perceived it, because he had no time at all. Mo Qingyun, die. Coming not far from Mo Qingyun, Yuan Ruiying shouted and suddenly launched an attack on Mo Qingyun. Sensing Yuan Ruiying's attack, Mo Qingyun frowned, a hint of surprise flashing through his eyes. He really did not expect that Yuan Ruiying would suddenly sneak attack him. It was just that after a brief surprise, Mo Qingyun's mood returned to calmness, and he said, "Humph! Kong Ran is really getting worse and worse." A dignified middle-stage God Emperor actually used such a method to fight with a middle-stage celestial deity. Trash. As for you, Yuan Ruiying, you're worthy of being Kong Ran's lackey. Even his trash move of sneak attacks, you also learned it quite well. When Mo Qingyun ridiculed the two with words, he did not stay idle either, immediately bringing out a ghost deity. Bringing out the ghost deity, Mo Qingyun controlled it and welcomed Yuan Ruiying. A mantis trying to stop a chariot. Looking at the divine king realm ghost deity welcoming him, Yuan Ruiying laughed lightly, a look of contempt emerging in his eyes as he said, "Winner takes all, no matter how much Mo Qingyun says, it's useless. As long as we take care of you, no one else will know." When Yuan Ruiying's words fell, he blasted a punch out, welcoming the ghost deity. Explode. Right at this time, Mo Qingyun controlled the divine king realm ghost deity and directly self-detonated its body in midair. This unforeseen event scared Yuan Ruiying until his expression changed drastically, and he was actually stunned for a moment. Mo Qingyun did not play his cards according to common sense. He originally thought that Mo Qingyun bringing out the divine king realm ghost deity to stop him was merely putting up a deathbed struggle. He did not expect that Mo Qingyun actually self-detonated the divine king realm ghost deity, using it as a killing move. One had to admit, the effect of Mo Qingyun's move could be said to be very obvious. Yuan Ruiying had a look of shock, a pair of eyes staring wide, and actually did not know what to say. Immediately, he hurriedly retreated, giving up the sneak attack on Mo Qingyun. Bang! A loud noise came out. The place where the ghost deity exploded immediately produced a storm with a terrifying aura, engulfing toward Yuan Ruiying. The speed of the storm was extremely fast. Even if Yuan Ruiying retreated at high speed, he was still swallowed inside. Seeing the storm engulf Yuan Ruiying, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed, rushing inside the storm. Seeing Mo Qingyun's action, Yuan Ruiying's expression panicked, and he hurriedly said, "Kong Ran, save me." Hearing Yuan Ruiying's cry for help, Kong Ran did not hesitate and also rushed into the Divine Force storm. When Kong Ran entered the Divine Force storm, he endured the impact of the storm. What surprised Mo Qingyun was that facing the impact of the Divine Force storm, Kong Ran was actually completely fine. His physique seems to have been strengthened. Discovering Kong Ran's situation, Mo Qingyun's mind stirred, and he immediately knew the reason, thinking to himself, if barring no accidents, Kong Ran's physique suddenly becoming stronger should also be caused by the law fine threads tempering the body. Discovering Kong Ran's unusualness, Mo Qingyun's vigilance toward him immediately rose to a level. At the same time, the movements of Mo Qingyun's hands also sped up a bit because of this. Chapter 3400. You really think too highly of yourself, it's just that I disdain to make a move against you. Arriving in front of Yuan Ruiying, Mo Qingyun's expression was cold, and he flashed a slap at him. Mo Qingyun waved his palm, and heaven and earth immediately changed colors, producing a terrifying aura. A huge palm shadow blasted out from Mo Qingyun's palm, crushing down toward Yuan Ruiying. Mo Qingyun, you can't make a move against me, I'm from the Grand Elder's residence. Looking at Mo Qingyun's action, Yuan Ruiying's expression trembled, wanting to speak up to intimidate Mo Qingyun. However, when Mo Qingyun heard his words, he attacked even more ruthlessly, saying, I don't care what Grand Elder's residence you're from, you're the ancestor's successor. Today I'm going to beat you up without fail. Besides, Kongran is still the #1 emperor's son. His status is much nobler than yours, right? Or were you abused by me? While Mo Qingyun was talking, the palm shadow that he blasted out drowned Yuan Ruiying. Bang! Facing Mo Qingyun's palm shadow bombardment, even if Yuan Ruiying resisted with all his strength, he was still blasted flying by one palm. Yuan Ruiying flew out backward, he vomited blood, his aura weakened to the extreme. If not for Mo Qingyun showing mercy, he would probably have died long ago. Mo Qingyun, you're courting death. Looking at Mo Qingyun's action, Kongran's face was livid, producing a strong anger. In his view, Mo Qingyun actually dared to seriously injure Yuan Ruiying in the face of his attack. This was a kind of humiliation to him. Mo Qingyun ignored Kongran's anger in the slightest and said without waiting for him to finish speaking, Do you only know this one sentence? Whether I'm courting death or not, it's not up to you to have the final say. Taisher Dragon's soaring horse transformation art. When Mo Qingyun's words fell, he stepped on the 10-winged flying horse and his figure flashed quickly. At this moment, Kongran's movement speed was actually a notch slower than Mo Qingyun's. Just an insignificant skill. Looking at Mo Qingyun's performance, Kongran curled his mouth in disdain and chased after Mo Qingyun, saying, Today, no matter what means you use, you're dead for sure. Release. As soon as Kongran's words came out, he pointed the god-slaying blood demon sword. Immediately, the aura of the god-slaying blood demon sword increased. Kongran. The god-slaying blood demon sword in his hands is a lot. When Mo Qingyun discovered this situation, his heart sank. Right. However, Mo Qingyun did not panic. He quickly thought of a way to deal with this situation. Mo Qingyun thought for a moment and decided not to hide his strength any longer. He brought out another 5,000 nomological threads. 50,000 law threads. Seeing the number of Mo Qingyun's law threads, Yuan Ruiying's pupils constricted, and a strong look of surprise emerged in his eyes. He really didn't expect that the number of law threads condensed by Mo Qingyun would actually increase to 50,000. One must know that during the Holy War qualification battle, Mo Qingyun only condensed 30,000. In less than a month, the number of law threads condensed by Mo Qingyun reached 50,000. This speed of improvement was really too terrifying. 50,000 law threads may not be a match for Kongran. Looking at Kongran, whose aura was even stronger over there, Yuan Ruiying's mood calmed down a lot, and his expression relaxed a little. In his view, as long as Kongran defeated Mo Qingyun, all the hidden dangers would be solved. Seeing Mo Qingyun take out another 5,000 law threads, Kongran was also surprised, somewhat surprised by Mo Qingyun's strength. However, after a brief surprise, Kongran showed a disdainful sneer and said, Mo Qingyun, don't continue to perform this kind of trick of holding back. Use whatever skills you have. If you don't have any other skills, I'm afraid that today's battle will end here. Kongran sneered, turned into a stream of light, and chased after Mo Qingyun. Seeing Kongran's move, Mo Qingyun frowned and quickly dodged. The current Kongran was too strong, and he could only contend with him. He would be at a disadvantage if he fought head-on. After all, the gap between him and Kongran was too big, and it couldn't be made up with some trump cards. Mo Qingyun's mind spun quickly. After thinking for a while, he quickly had an idea and said, this method may be worth a try. Door of Bloody Calamity. With this thought, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. With a flip of his palm, a door of bloody light quickly condensed in his palm. After the door of bloody light was condensed, Mo Qingyun sent out a palm and blasted it at Kongran. A stream of light streaked across the sky and bombarded Kongran, causing his expression to change slightly. Heavenly Sacred Gates Divine Ability? Kongran was surprised, but he also showed a disdainful smile and said, you even used the Heavenly Sacred Gates Divine Ability. It seems that you've run out of tricks. After mocking Mo Qingyun, Kongran slashed out with his sword and slashed at the approaching door of Bloody Calamity. A sword light slashed out and penetrated the door of Bloody Calamity in a swift and fierce manner. However, to Kongran's surprise, the door of Bloody Calamity didn't suffer any damage from the sword light attack. What's going on? Before Kongran could react, the door of Bloody Calamity arrived in front of him and blasted directly into his body. After being bombarded by the door of Bloody Calamity, Kongran panicked, fearing that he would be injured. When he found that there didn't seem to be any changes in his body, he sneered proudly and said, I thought your divine ability was very powerful and strange. Now it seems that it's just SOSO. There's nothing special about it. After saying that, Kongran didn't think much and attacked Mo Qingyun crazily. Seeing Kongran's action, Mo Qingyun showed a playful smile and flew into the sky. He said with a smile, the space here is too small. I can't use it fully. Let's find a spacious place to fight. After saying that, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and came to the sky above the mountain peak. As Mo Qingyun came to the sky, the array restriction on the mountain peak was immediately triggered by him. Boom, boom, boom. Soon, the mountain peak shook and erupted with a terrifying aura. As this aura erupted, a huge figure quickly condensed in midair. Kongran's expression turned solemn when he saw this scene. The progenitor battle spirit had been awakened and it was very strong. Its aura was comparable to a late-stage divine emperor. Facing such a progenitor battle spirit, even he would be in a very dangerous situation now. You want to scare me away with the progenitor battle spirit? You're too naive. As soon as Kongran finished speaking, he no longer hesitated and chased after Mo Qingyun in a flash. In his opinion, Mo Qingyun triggered the progenitor battle spirit to find an opportunity to escape. He naturally couldn't let Mo Qingyun succeed. Chapter 3401. Roar. The progenitor battle spirit was awakened. With an angry roar, it attacked Kongran. As soon as the progenitor battle spirit made a move, it displayed powerful strength, causing the world to change colors and space to tremble. Facing the attack of the progenitor battle spirit, Kongran's eyelids twitched, and a look of panic flashed in his eyes. Of course, at this moment, Kongran was more angry in his heart. The progenitor battle spirit was clearly awakened by Mo Qingyun, so why was he the one being attacked by the progenitor battle spirit? This was a little hard for him to accept. Is this a coincidence, or is this part of his plan? Seeing the progenitor battle spirit's actions, Yuan Ruiying, who was healing in the distance, had a look of shock in her eyes. If this was all part of Mo Qingyun's scheme, then it was truly incredible. Seeing the progenitor battle spirit choose to attack Kongran, Mo Qingyun's expression relaxed, revealing a faint smile. Although he guessed in his heart that Kongran was hit by the door of disaster, and if the progenitor battle spirit was awakened, it should attack him. But a guess was a guess after all. Without a test, everything was in vain. Now that his guess was confirmed, the worry in Mo Qingyun's heart was put down. Kongran, you are not only annoying, but even the progenitor battle spirit can't stand it. Seeing the progenitor battle spirit attack Kongran, Mo Qingyun made fun of him and also joined the battle circle. Although the progenitor battle spirit was strong, it could only suppress Kongran. It was still very difficult to defeat him. Moreover, the longer the progenitor battle spirit fought, the more limited the strength it could erupt. Therefore, if Mo Qingyun wanted to defeat Kongran, he must wait until the progenitor battle spirit's strength was at its peak. Divine Thunder Dragon Transformation Wave. Mo Qingyun's figure flashed, and he arrived in front of Kongran and launched an attack on him. Surging divine power frantically gathered in Mo Qingyun's palm, fusing with 50,000 law threads. Soon, a huge black dragon of thunder bombarded Kongran. After using a divine ability on Kongran, Mo Qingyun did not stop and continued to face Kongran. Mo Qingyun arrived in front of Kongran in a flash and confronted him head-on. At this point, Kongran was besieged from three sides and fell into a passive state. Seeing that he had fallen into a passive state, Kongran was completely enraged. He shouted, "Mo Qingyun, do you really think you can compete with me with the power of the progenitor battle spirit? If that's what you think, then you're too naive. Release." As soon as Kongran finished speaking, he forced out a bit more essence blood and infused it into the god-slaying blood demon sword. As the essence blood merged into the sword, the aura emitted by the god-slaying blood demon sword immediately grew stronger. Blood dyed the myriad worlds. Emptiness slashed out with his sword, and the world suddenly changed color, turning red. Immediately after, streams of blood rain fell from the sky with a terrifying aura. When the blood rain fell, it exploded with a sharp aura and turned into blood-colored sword lights. So strong! Seeing the power of Kongran's sword, Mo Qingyun was shocked and his mood became heavy. Fortunately, he had the help of the progenitor battle spirit. Otherwise, with his current strength, he really was not Kongran's opponent. Heaven's might tyrant body. Heaven's might secret skill. Seeing Kongran's move, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately urged Heaven's might secret skill. As Mo Qingyun performed Heaven's might secret skill, the sky changed color again, and violent thunderclouds gathered crazily. Boom, boom, boom. Then, bolts of lightning with terrifying auras descended from the sky. When the lightning fell, it mixed with the blood rain, colliding and consuming each other. Under the impact of the lightning, the power of the blood rain sword lights decreased sharply, and the pressure on Mo Qingyun was reduced a lot. Seeing such a situation, Kongran's expression also became solemn. Mo Qingyun was far more difficult to deal with than he expected. Black Fiend Dragon Devouring Roar. After resolving Kongran's all-out attack, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and performed another divine ability. Then, a huge black dragon shadow condensed in the sky above them. Roar. After the black demonic dragon was condensed, it raised its head and roared, emitting a sky-shaking sound wave. When this sound wave erupted, It made Kongran's consciousness panic, and his offensive weakened a little. As Kongran's offensive weakened, Emo Qingyun's joint attack with the progenitor battle spirit strengthened a little. Then, Kongran, who had the advantage just now, fell into a disadvantageous position again. Facing such a situation, Kongran's face was livid, and he gnashed his teeth in anger. He originally thought that when he met Emo Qingyun again, he should be able to easily crush Emo Qingyun. Unexpectedly, he still couldn't do anything to Emo Qingyun even after doing so much. Damn progenitor battle spirit! Kongran was furious. He knew very well that the reason for this situation was because of this progenitor battle spirit. However, the progenitor battle spirit had no consciousness, so no matter how angry he was, it was useless. While Kongran was angry, there was also a look of struggle on his face. Should he continue to unseal the god-slaying blood demon sword? If he didn't, in the current situation, he couldn't do anything to Emo Qingyun. But if he unsealed it, he might suffer a backlash, which made him very hesitant. Seeing Kongran's performance, Yuan Ruiying's face turned pale, and she said in shock, "I didn't expect Kongran to be forced into such a situation after going all out." Looking at Kongran's appearance, he seems to be preparing to unseal the third layer of the god-slaying blood demon sword. This is a risky move. Under Yuan Ruiying's gaze, Kongran gritted his teeth and quickly pulled away from Emo Qingyun. Emo Qingyun, consider yourself lucky this time. You have the help of a progenitor battle spirit. You won't be so lucky next time. As soon as Kongran's words fell, his figure flashed and flew towards Yuan Ruiying and Kongran. Then, he took Yuan Ruiying and Kongran and quickly fled into the distance. Regarding Kongran's escape, Emo Qingyun didn't chase after him. A complicated look appeared in his eyes. He could see that Kongran should still have a trump card that he didn't use in the fight just now. If he continued to chase, he might not be able to win. More importantly, if he chased after him, he wouldn't be Kongran's opponent without the help of the progenitor battle spirit. Next time I meet you, you won't be able to escape. Looking at the fleeing Kongran, Emo Qingyun clenched his fists and silently made a decision in his heart. Kongran attacked him again and again, which had touched his bottom line. Roar! Without an attack target, the progenitor battle spirit roared and flew towards Emo Qingyun. Sensing the attack of the progenitor battle spirit, Emo Qingyun's expression shook and he immediately raised his vigilance. This progenitor battle spirit was very strong. It would take him a lot of effort to deal with it alone. Immediately, Emo Qingyun didn't want to fight with it and prepared to leave the mountain peak. What is this? When Emo Qingyun was about to leave, he found that the progenitor battle spirit's body was flashing with a bright light. Discovering that something was wrong with the progenitor battle spirit, Emo Qingyun was curious and stopped his footsteps. Chapter 3402. This seems to be the seed of holy war. As Emo Qingyun looked around, he discovered that within the primogenitor battle spirit, there was a firebird shadow flashing about. This discovery shocked Emo Qingyun quite a bit. He was very surprised by this. No matter what it is, I'll kill the primogenitor battle spirit first and take away the firebird shadow within its body. Emo Qingyun made up his mind. He didn't hesitate at all and immediately attacked the primogenitor battle spirit. Soon, a flashing door of light appeared in Emo Qingyun's palm. The sealed door. After the door of light appeared, Emo Qingyun didn't hesitate at all. He smashed it towards the primogenitor battle spirit. The sealed door flashed with a stream of light and crashed into the body of the primogenitor battle spirit, sealing away its divine power and array runes. Soon, the aura emitted by the primogenitor battle spirit began to rapidly weaken. Not only that, but the connection between the primogenitor battle spirit and the mountain peak array formation was also rapidly weakening. Sensing the situation of the primogenitor battle spirit, Emo Qingyun revealed a happy expression. I never thought that the sealing effect of the sealed door on the primogenitor battle spirit would be better than against ordinary cultivators. Soon, the aura emitted by the primogenitor battle spirit dropped to the middle stage God-Emperor realm. Only a middle stage God-Emperor cultivation. Dealing with it is much easier. Feeling the aura of the primogenitor battle spirit falling, Mo Qingyun faintly smiled. He was pleasantly surprised. After sealing away the primogenitor battle spirit's cultivation, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate. He immediately attacked it. God Thunder transforming dragon wave. Mo Qingyun didn't hold back at all. He immediately used a sacred art to attack. Soon, a massive thunder dragon shot towards the primogenitor battle spirit. As the thunder dragon attacked the primogenitor battle spirit, Mo Qingyun didn't remain idle either. He also began attacking the primogenitor battle spirit. Although the primogenitor battle spirit was strong, it didn't have a consciousness. It was soon suppressed by Mo Qingyun. After suppressing the primogenitor battle spirit, Mo Qingyun's lips curled into a smile. Things were going much smoother and simpler than he imagined. At this moment, as Mo Qingyun was fighting with the primogenitor battle spirit, Qian Linglong and the other woman returned. A middle-stage God-Emperor primogenitor battle spirit. Why is Qin Yun fighting with it? Where did Kongran and the others go? Could they have been killed by Qin Yun? Don't worry about that for now. Let's go and help Qin Yun. Qian Linglong and Qian Linglong exchanged a few words before flying towards Mo Qingyun in a flash. Mo Qingyun was a little surprised when he sensed the arrival of the two women, but he didn't ask anything. Now, the most important thing was to obtain the ancestral battle spirit. This is the embryo of the seed of holy war. I didn't think that the primogenitor battle spirit would give birth to such a thing. Seeing the firebird within the primogenitor battle spirit, Kong Xian revealed a look of shock. Her beautiful eyes widened as she said, "Qin Yun, your luck is too good. You actually encountered the embryo of the seed of holy war. This is something even more precious than the seed of holy war." Mo Qingyun revealed a look of surprise when he heard Kong Xian's words. The embryo of the seed of holy war is more precious than the seed of holy war? In Mo Qingyun's opinion, the seed of holy war was complete. It should be more precious. Hearing Mo Qingyun's doubtful words, Kong Xian guessed his thoughts and said, "To the people of the holy war continent, the seed of holy war is indeed more precious. But to us, the embryo of the seed of holy war is more precious. Because we can't let the seed of holy war evolve if we host it. But the embryo of the seed of holy war can." With Kong Xian's words, Mo Qingyun immediately had an answer to his doubts. One was a seed of holy war that was fixed and the other was a seed of holy war that could evolve. There was indeed no comparison between the two. Although the seed of holy war was more useful in the short term, in the long term, the embryo of the seed of holy war was more precious. This was because as time passed, the embryo of the seed of holy war would evolve and become more formidable. After knowing how precious the seed of holy war was, Mo Qingyun and the other two's attacks became even fiercer. The primogenitor battle spirit in front of them was a massive treasure trove. They absolutely couldn't allow it to escape. About an hour later, under the joint efforts of Mo Qingyun and the other two, the primogenitor battle spirit was finally killed. As the primogenitor battle spirit was killed, the embryo of the seed of holy war within its body was taken by Mo Qingyun and the other two. "Qin Yun, quickly host it in your body," Qian Linglong said gently as she looked at the primogenitor battle spirit in Mo Qingyun's hand. "If you successfully host it in your body, your cultivation will definitely improve. You might even have a chance to break through to the perfected sky celestial grade. At that time, even if I have to face Kong Ran again, I'll be able to fight him easily." Mo Qingyun didn't listen to Qian Linglong's suggestion. He shook his head and said, "The attributes of this seed of holy war are not very compatible with mine. If I host it in my body, it won't be very useful. However, your power attribute is very compatible with it. It will be more effective if you host it. After Mo Qingyun said that, Kong Xian nodded and said, Qingyun is right. His power attribute is indeed not compatible with this seed of holy war. It's better for you to host it. Qian Linglong hesitated when she heard Kong Xian's words. She was considering whether to host it or not. When he noticed the hesitation on Qian Linglong's face, Kong Xian glared at Mo Qingyun and said, Linglong, there's no need to think too much about it. That fellow's luck is so good, so he'll definitely encounter someone even better. If we host it now, we might be at a disadvantage. Mo Qingyun looked embarrassed when he heard Kong Xian's words. He couldn't help but cough softly. Although this was the truth, it was enough to know it in his heart. There was no need to say it out loud. All right then. Qian Linglong no longer hesitated when she heard Kong Xian's words. She decided to host the embryo of the seed of holy war. Then, Qian Linglong took the embryo of the seed of holy war and hosted it in her body. After Qian Linglong left, Kong Xian asked curiously, By the way, weren't you fighting Kong Ran just now? Why were you fighting the primogenitor battle spirit? Where did Kong Ran and the others go? Mo Qingyun didn't hide anything when he heard Kong Xian's question. He said, Kong Ran's strength increased greatly and the power of the god-slaying blood demon sword increased greatly. I was under great pressure when I fought him, so I took the risk of awakening the primogenitor battle spirit. I wanted to use its power to fight against him. Fortunately, I was lucky. The primogenitor battle spirit was awakened and it helped me deal with Kong Ran. Kong Ran was defeated. He had no choice but to leave with Yuan Ruiying and Kong He. After Kong Ran and the others escaped, the primogenitor battle spirit turned to deal with me. Mo Qingyun gave a simple explanation of the battle. When Kong Xian heard this, he was flabbergasted. Could it be done like this? Mo Qingyun had awakened the primogenitor battle spirit, which everyone avoided like the plague, to help him deal with the enemy. Chapter 3403. After chatting with Kong Xian for a while, Mo Qingyun also immersed himself in cultivation to recover the energy he had expended in the previous battle. Although his battle strength was strong, the continuous battle with Kong Ran and the primogenitor's fighting spirit had consumed a lot of his divine power. Seeing that Mo Qingyun was immersed in cultivation, Kong Xian did not disturb him and stood guard for Mo Qingyun and Qian Linglong. Time passed little by little while Mo Qingyun was cultivating. About a day later, Mo Qingyun withdrew from cultivation. The divine power he had expended previously had all been recovered in the past few days. When Mo Qingyun withdrew from cultivation, there was a shocking fluctuation of divine power in the main hall where Qian Linglong was cultivating. Sensing the situation of Qian Linglong's cultivation, Mo Qingyun and Qian Linglong were shocked and quickly rushed to the main hall. Linglong's cultivation is about to break through. Mo Qingyun came outside the main hall and simply sensed Qian Linglong's situation. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Kong Xian showed an expectant expression and said, Linglong's talent is outstanding and her foundation is profound. If she breaks through to the God-Emperor realm, her strength will definitely have a qualitative leap. Mo Qingyun nodded in agreement and his eyes were also filled with anticipation. Then, Mo Qingyun and Kong Xian stood outside the main hall and waited for Qian Linglong to finish her cultivation. While Mo Qingyun and Kong Xian waited, time passed little by little. Another 2 days passed. At this moment, in the sky above the main hall where Qian Linglong was cultivating, threads of law condensed. Mo Qingyun roughly counted and found that the number of threads of law in Qian Linglong was close to 200,000. At this moment, Mo Qingyun truly discovered how profound Qian Linglong's foundation was. In his knowledge, Kong Ran had a lot of threads of law. Even a quasi-god emperor would only have 150,000 threads of law. After another half an hour, The threads of law that had condensed in mid-air flew into the main hall. When the threads of law entered the main hall, they integrated into Qian Linglong's body and tempered her body. Qian Linglong's aura became stronger and more restrained as she continued to refine her body. If nothing unexpected happens, Linglong will complete her breakthrough in at most half a day. Looking at Qian Linglong's situation, Mo Qingyun did some calculations and had a rough idea. While Mo Qingyun was observing Qian Linglong's condition, his expression suddenly changed. Not good, my holy glorious light is about to run out, I have to find more holy glorious light immediately. Sensing his own condition, Mo Qingyun's expression tensed up, and a sense of anxiety appeared in his heart. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Kong Xian glanced at him with an anxious expression and said, "The glorious light on your body can only last for a few hours at most. Go and find the glorious light immediately. As for Linglong, I'll stay here and watch over her. She'll be fine." Mo Qingyun hesitated for a moment, then nodded and said, "All right, I'll leave her to you. I'll go and find the glorious light now." After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he no longer hesitated and flew down the mountain in a flash. Although Qian Linglong only needed a few hours to break through to the Emperor God realm, he could not wait any longer. Fortunately, Kong Xian was guarding her, so Mo Qingyun was not worried that Qian Linglong would be in any danger. After coming down from the mountain, Mo Qingyun glanced in front of him and chose the direction to go. Then, Mo Qingyun moved quickly, shuttling through one tribal territory after another. However, to Mo Qingyun's disappointment, most of the tribal territories had been destroyed. This can't go on. After searching through a few tribal territories, Mo Qingyun was a little anxious. He had at most 6 hours left. If he could not find the glorious light, he would be expelled from the Holy War continent. He could not accept such an outcome. Thinking of this, Mo Qingyun began to consider how to resolve this situation. He thought to himself, "It seems that if he's from another faction, I'll have to snatch the holy glorious light regardless of which faction he's from." Now that things had come to this, Mo Qingyun could no longer care so much. The most important thing for him now was to stay in the Holy War continent. With Mo Qingyun's thoughts in mind, Mo Qingyun did not stop and continued to search the tribal territories along the way. Another 4 hours passed, but Mo Qingyun still had nothing to show for it. Only a little more than 2 hours left. Seeing that the glorious light on his body was getting weaker and weaker, Mo Qingyun became even more anxious. 2 hours was too short. It could be said to be fleeting. At this moment, Mo Qingyun's heart was intersecting as he searched at full speed. Boom, 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 boom. The sound of a fierce fight suddenly came from the front and entered Mo Qingyun's ears. Someone is fighting. Sensing the fight ahead, Mo Qingyun was delighted. He immediately rushed forward. In his opinion, since he met someone else, his situation would take a turn for the better. No matter how long the other party's glorious light was left, he would snatch as much as he could. The longer he stayed in the Holy War continent, the more hope he had. In a few breaths of time, Mo Qingyun flew at full speed and arrived at a mountain peak. He saw 2 groups of people fighting. These 2 groups of people were extremely strong. Each side had 2 God Emperor realm experts, and they were fighting to a standstill. Each side has a middle stage God Emperor and an early stage God Emperor. What powerful strength! Sensing the strength of both sides, Mo Qingyun was slightly startled. He was considering which side he should help. As Mo Qingyun observed the 2 sides, he saw a familiar figure in the black-robed side. It's actually him. Mo Qingyun recognized the other party. He revealed a playful smile and said, "Originally, I was still hesitating about who to attack later. Since you are here, it's much easier to choose." Mo Qingyun made his decision. He no longer hesitated and immediately flew towards the 2 groups of people. Emo Qingyun's arrival attracted the attention of both sides. They released their spiritual senses and scanned him. When they discovered that Emo Qingyun's cultivation was only at the heavenly deity realm, they ignored him. However, there was one person in the group of black-robed people who revealed a shocked expression. He stared at Emo Qingyun with widened eyes. It's him. He actually participated in the holy war. After recognizing Emo Qingyun, this person revealed a shocked expression. He became extremely vigilant. He was very clear about Emo Qingyun's strength. He was not any easier to deal with than a god emperor. Feeling the other party's gaze, Emo Qingyun revealed a faint smile and said, "Brother Luo, long time no see. Who would have thought that we would meet here? What a coincidence." That's right. This person Emo Qingyun recognized was Luo Qinsha, the person he had fought with in the Sky Fragrance dynasty. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Luo Qinsha's expression immediately turned ugly. Emo Qingyun's greeting made him feel uneasy. It gave him a bad feeling. Chapter 3404. Seeing that Emo Qingyun was acquainted with Luo Qinsha, the group of people who were fighting against Luo Qinsha immediately raised their guard against him. In their opinion, since Emo Qingyun was acquainted with Luo Qinsha, he must be a helper of Luo Qinsha. Even though Emo Qingyun was only a heavenly deity, it would still be troublesome for him to join the group. What surprised everyone was that Luo Qinsha did not respond to Emo Qingyun's call. Seeing this situation, the expressions of both parties turned weird. They felt that something was amiss. Under the curious gazes of everyone, Emo Qingyun maintained his smile and said, "Brother Luo, it has been a long time since we last met. It is fate for us to meet here. It just so happens that I have met with some trouble. I hope that you can lend me a hand. My holy glorious light is about to run out. Could you share half of your holy glorious light with me?" Only after hearing Emo Qingyun's words did everyone notice that his holy glorious light was about to run out. After understanding Emo Qingyun's intention, that early-stage god emperor from the group of people fighting against Luo Qinsha said, "This friend, I can give you a day's worth of holy glorious light. How about you share the burden with one of us?" Hearing this person's words, Emo Qingyun hesitated for a moment before replying, "Sure. I am more familiar with Brother Luo. I'll help you block him." Seeing Emo Qingyun readily agree to share the burden of dealing with Luo Qinsha, that person revealed a satisfied smile. Other than the two god emperors, Luo Qinsha was the one with the strongest deity energy in this group. If Emo Qingyun could deal with him, it would definitely be an unexpected gain. After reaching an agreement with the other party, Emo Qingyun did not waste any more words. He said, "Since you have agreed, give me the holy glorious light first." Hearing Emo Qingyun's request, this person revealed an awkward expression and said, "Friend, you haven't done anything yet, and you're already asking us for the holy light. I'm afraid this isn't too good, right?" Emo Qingyun was displeased by the other party's attitude. He said, "Under normal circumstances, there would naturally be no problem. However, my holy light is about to run out. Just in case, it's better to get the holy light as insurance. So, let's get the holy light first." Upon seeing Emo Qingyun's attitude, one of the quasi-god emperors in the group said, "Senior brother Ding Sun, don't bother with this person. Without his help, we can still defeat the 9 Sky evil tribe." Emo Qingyun's expression turned ugly when he heard this person's words. He said, "It looks like you guys aren't sincere about cooperating. You just want to use me to tie down Luo Qinsha for you. Once your battle is over, my holy glorious light will also run out. You guys won't have to pay any price. This is a good plan." Upon hearing Emo Qingyun's words, the group of people was stunned, and they vaguely revealed a guilty conscience. They had indeed thought of doing what Emo Qingyun said. Seeing that the other party did not speak, Emo Qingyun did not waste time talking nonsense with them. He directly flew towards one of them and said, "Since you guys aren't cooperating, I have no choice but to do it myself." The person Mo Qingyun was flying towards was the person who was unwilling to cooperate just now. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, it was this person who had spoken and ruined his plan of obtaining the holy glorious light. "Arrogant brat, you actually dare to attack me. You're courting death." Seeing Mo Qingyun rushing towards him, this person's expression darkened, and a strong sense of anger rose within him. He, a dignified quasi-god emperor expert, was being looked down upon by a heavenly god. He could not accept this. Seeing this person's reaction, Luo Qinsha sneered proudly and thought to himself, "Reckless fool, how dare you look down on this brat? You'll regret it later." But this is also good. Let them fight each other and we can also reap the benefits. Under Luo Qinsha's gaze, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and appeared beside this person. He threw out a punch. Divine Lightning Dragon Transformation Wave. Mo Qingyun threw out a punch. Divine power crazily gathered on his fist, erupting with a terrifying aura. At the same time, 40,000 threads of law with terrifying aura appeared around him. These law threads were very obvious. They fused into the divine power and turned into a huge lightning dragon. Roar. After the lightning dragon was formed, it raised its head and roared, attacking that person. When the lightning dragon attacked that person, the people fighting in the surroundings all revealed shocked expressions. This kid's strength has actually reached such a level. No wonder he dared to challenge Luo Qinsha. So this is his confidence. This brat's battle strength has reached the level of a half-step god emperor. Yan Chao is in trouble. Seeing Mo Qingyun's strength, the people of Nine In Heaven Evil Tribe were pleasantly surprised. Compared to the joy of the people of Nine In Heaven Evil Tribe, Ding Sun and the others' expressions were tense. Because of Yan Chao's bad words, they had provoked a powerful enemy. If it was under normal circumstances, with Mo Qingyun's strength, he would not be a threat to them. However, at this critical juncture, an ordinary divine king expert could affect the entire situation. Moreover, Mo Qingyun's strength was comparable to a half-step god emperor expert. "Friend, please show mercy. I agree to your request." After seeing Mo Qingyun's strength, Ding Sun did not dare to hesitate and immediately shouted at Mo Qingyun. In his opinion, if he allowed Mo Qingyun to seriously injure Yan Chao, it would be really troublesome. Hearing Ding Sun's request, Mo Qingyun smiled satisfactorily and said, "I can stop, but he has to give me all the holy glorious light on him." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the expressions of Ding Sun and the others turned ugly. Mo Qingyun was too much. He was actually asking for a yard after giving them an inch. Seeing the hesitation on Ding Sun's face, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and said, "Think about it carefully. If I attack him, I won't be taking away the holy glorious light." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ding Sun no longer hesitated and said, "All right, I agree to your request. Here are 5 days' worth of holy glorious light, the same amount as Yan Chao has. I hope you can keep your promise after taking the holy glorious light and help me keep Luo Qinsha busy." After Ding Sun finished speaking, he raised his hand and threw a lump of holy glorious light at Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun waved his hand when he saw the holy light flying closer and closer to him. He absorbed it into his own holy light. After Mo Qingyun fused with the holy glorious light, his expression relaxed and his heart relaxed slightly. Now, no matter what, the problem of exhausting the holy glorious light was completely resolved. Although 5 days was not a long time, it was enough for him to slowly prepare. "Don't worry. I have always kept my word." In response to Ding Sun's reminder, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and gave him a reassuring look. Immediately, Mo Qingyun turned his spearhead and charged at Luo Qinsha. Chapter 3405. Mo Qingyun, I advise you not to meddle in other people's business. Opposing my clan will do you no good. Luo Qinsha's face turned ashen when he saw Mo Qinyun charging towards him. He warned in a cold voice. In his opinion, if Mo Qinyun knew what was good for him, he would obediently retreat after hearing his warning. However, to Luo Qinsha's disappointment, Mo Qinyun did not retreat. Instead, he revealed a mocking expression and said, "You know that meddling in other people's business will do you no good. Why did you meddle in the affairs of the Kongxiang dynasty last time?" Mo Qingyun's rhetorical question left Luo Qinsha speechless. He didn't know how to refute. Luo Qinsha was silent for a moment before he coldly shouted, "I interfered in the struggle for the throne of the Kongxiang dynasty because I was invited by a friend. How can that be compared to the current situation?" Upon hearing Luo Qinsha's words, Mo Qinyun was immediately amused. He smiled and said, "What a coincidence! I'm attacking you now because I was invited by a friend. Didn't you see that he gave me some glorious light?" Luo Qinsha snorted coldly in anger when he heard Mo Qinyun's words. He wasn't willing to continue arguing with Mo Qinyun. He had experienced Mo Qinyun's eloquence in the Kongxiang dynasty's imperial mausoleum last time. It was truly amazing. "Young master," well said. "We are friends. It's only right for you to lend a hand." Ding Sun laughed heartily when he heard the conversation between Mo Qinyun and Luo Qinsha. He had originally been worried that Mo Qinyun would have misgivings after Luo Qinsha's warning. Now it seemed that he had guessed that Mo Qinyun didn't care about Luo Qinsha at all. That's only natural. If I encounter trouble, can I still be considered a friend if I don't help? Mo Qinyun responded heroically and said, "Brother Ding, I'm taking a huge risk to help you block Luo Qinsha. Once they're repelled, you'll have to do me a favor as well." "Please speak, young master. As long as I have the ability, I will not refuse." Brother Ding didn't think too much about Mo Qinyun's words and replied politely. Mo Qinyun smiled in satisfaction when he heard Ding Sun's reply. He said, "You've seen it too. I have very little holy radiance on me right now. Brother Ding, can you maintain holy radiance for me for another 10 days after I defeat them?" Cough cough. When he heard Mo Qinyun's request, Brother Ding coughed lightly and didn't speak any further. He really didn't expect Mo Qinyun to really speak. Maintaining the holy light for 10 days was no different from robbery. Seeing Ding Sun's reaction, Luo Qinsha sneered and mocked Mo Qinyun. "Mo Qinyun, so your so-called friend isn't even worth 10 days of holy light. How about I give you the holy light for 10 days, and you help us deal with them?" Luo Qinsha's suggestion surprised Mo Qinyun. He put on a thoughtful expression. He wasn't familiar with Ding Sun and the others. Accepting Luo Qinsha's suggestion seemed like a good choice. This condition seems to be quite tempting. Should I accept it? Mo Qinyun frowned and pretended to hesitate, as though he was weighing the pros and cons. Seeing Mo Qinyun's reaction, Luo Qinsha didn't rush him. He waited quietly by the side. In his opinion, it was worth it to spend 10 days of holy glorious light for Mo Qinyun to make a move. Especially in the current situation. If he could obtain Mo Qinyun's help, he might be able to keep a genius of the human race. Luo Qinsha wasn't anxious, but Ding Sun was. He was worried that Mo Qinyun would change his mind. After all, Mo Qinyun was neither a relative nor a friend of theirs. There was no need for him to guard against benefit. "Brother Mo, our holy radiance is limited. How about I add on another 5 days?" In his anxiety, Ding Sun offered another price to Mo Qinyun to prevent him from accepting Luo Qinsha's suggestion. When Ding Sun said this, Mo Qinyun's expression froze. He was pleasantly surprised. He didn't expect that they would really increase the price. Following which, Mo Qinyun turned to look at Ding Sun and said, "Brother Ding, you're indeed a genius of the human race. Your actions are different. What about the remaining holy radiance?" Ding Sun was speechless when he saw Mo Qinyun asking for more holy radiance. He took out another 5 days of holy radiance and handed it over. Emo Qingyun raised his hand and grabbed it. He immediately fused it into his holy radiance. After Emo Qingyun did all this, he looked at Luo Qinsha and said, "Brother Luo, you've seen it too. Ding Sun has increased the price. What do you think?" When they heard Emo Qingyun's words, not only were Ding Sun and the rest speechless, but even Luo Qinsha was dumbfounded. Emo Qingyun wanted to eat from both sides. This move was too ruthless. When he saw Emo Qingyun's actions, the one called Yen Chao was unhappy. He scolded Emo Qingyun angrily, surnamed Emo, "What is the meaning of this? You've given us so many benefits. It's fine if you don't attack Luo Qinsha, but you're actually discussing with him how to deal with us? Don't go too far." When he heard Yen Chao's words, Emo Qingyun smiled indifferently and said, "I don't like what you're saying. I've already told Brother Ding that I only need to keep Luo Qinsha busy. Now, although I haven't attacked him, I've stopped him from participating in the battle. I've also fulfilled Brother Ding's request." When Emo Qingyun said this, Ding Sun was speechless. However, he couldn't refute it. Even though Emo Qingyun's actions were a little opportunistic, he had indeed fulfilled the request. After Emo Qingyun said this, Luo Qinsha realized this point. Emo Qingyun might seem like he was bargaining with him, but in reality, he was restraining him. Furthermore, his methods were brilliant. He didn't even need to move his hands. After seeing through Emo Qingyun's methods, Luo Qinsha's expression turned cold. He turned to Ding Sun and said, "Ding Sun, both of us have more than 10 god kings and god emperors. How can we be played by a heavenly deity? Why don't we stop fighting and deal with this brat first before deciding who's stronger?" Hearing Luo Qinsha's words, the middle stage god emperor from the 9 heaven evil race gave Luo Qinsha a praising look before saying, "Ding Sun, it won't be pleasant for you, the third-ranked human, to go out. If I were you, I'd accept Luo Qinsha's suggestion and deal with this brat first." Hearing the conversation between Luo Qinsha and Ding Sun, Emo Qingyun squinted his eyes. He became more vigilant in his heart. If both parties were to join hands, then things would be a little too big. However, Emo Qingyun didn't resign himself to death. He thought of something and said, "If you want to attack me, you have to think twice. My Dark Heaven Holy Clan isn't a pushover." The moment Emo Qingyun finished speaking, he activated his absolute beginning dark creation bloodline, emitting a powerful aura. Sensing the aura of Emo Qingyun's bloodline, Ding Sun's eyelids twitched. He immediately gave up on attacking Emo Qingyun. They had already offended the 9 heaven evil race. They couldn't afford to offend the Dark Heaven Holy Clan. Chapter 3406. Brother Emo, don't be instigated by them. Why would we attack you? Sensing Emo Qingyun's hostility, Ding Sun immediately explained and made his stance clear. Emo Qingyun nodded in satisfaction when he heard Ding Sun's explanation. "Brother Ding, I'm relieved that you're able to distinguish right from wrong and not be instigated by them." After settling the matter with Ding Sun, Emo Qingyun's expression turned cold. He turned to look at Luo Qinsha and said, "Initially, I thought that it would be fine as long as I kept you busy. However, you forced me to make a move. You can't blame me for this." As soon as Emo Qingyun finished speaking, his figure flashed and he threw a punch at Luo Qinsha. A violent surge of divine power blasted out from Emo Qingyun's fist. It merged with 40,000 strands of nomological laws and transformed into a huge fist shadow. As the fist shadow blasted towards Luo Qinsha, it exploded with a terrifying aura that caused the space to tremble. Seeing such a scene, everyone was quite shocked. Emo Qingyun's strength was too terrifying. 9 shades cover the sun. Luo Qinsha didn't dare to be careless in the face of the incoming fist shadow. He immediately executed a sacred art. Luo Qinsha's hands moved quickly to form a black imprint. He threw it into the air. Immediately, the imprint glowed brightly and expanded rapidly. In almost an instant, the imprint covered the sky. It was as if dark clouds had gathered and the sun had been devoured. Boom! When the fist shadow landed on the mark, a loud bang erupted, causing the mark to shake violently. After shaking a few times, the imprint collapsed and slowly dissipated in the air. Luo Qinsha's expression changed greatly when he saw this. His eyes were filled with shock. His all-out defense had been forcefully defeated by Mo Qingyun's casual punch. After destroying Luo Qinsha's defense with one punch, Mo Qingyun shook his head in disappointment and said, "You're really too weak now." Mo Qingyun sighed in disappointment. His figure flashed and he attacked Luo Qinsha again. At this moment, Mo Qingyun's attacks were much fiercer than before. He didn't give Luo Qinsha any chance to catch his breath. Bang bang bang, in just the blink of an eye, Luo Qinsha suffered several punches and was sent flying by Mo Qingyun. Crushing. In front of Mo Qingyun, Luo Qinsha did not have the slightest ability to resist. Seeing this result, everyone was stunned. This guy's strength is too terrifying. I'm afraid even early-stage god emperors might not be as strong as him. Is he really a heavenly god? He must be hiding his strength. This guy is really too treacherous. Everyone cursed in their hearts. Under everyone's shocked gazes, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly at Ding Sun and said, "Brother Ding, Luo Qinsha has already been crippled. There shouldn't be anything left for me to do, right?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ding Sun smiled bitterly, not knowing what to say. He couldn't let Mo Qingyun leave. But Mo Qingyun had already heavily injured Luo Qinsha, causing him to lose the ability to continue fighting. He had fulfilled his promise, but to let Mo Qingyun leave? Ding Sun felt some heartache. The sacred brilliant light that could last for 10 days was exchanged for Mo Qingyun's less than 10 move. Such an outcome made him feel heartache. As Ding Sun was hesitating, an early-stage god emperor from the 9 heaven evil race glared coldly at Mo Qingyun. He shouted, "Brat, you injured Luo Qinsha and still want to leave?" Hearing this person's words, Mo Qingyun's expression turned cold. He turned to look at him and said, "If I want to leave, can you stop me? What an arrogant brat. I'd like to see how capable you are." The moment this person finished speaking, he gave up on his opponent and charged towards Mo Qingyun. Seeing this person's action, Luo Qinsha was startled. He hurriedly said, "Cousin brother Luo Di, don't force him to act." In Luo Qinsha's opinion, this action of Luo Di's was not a wise choice. If Mo Qingyun left, they would have one less opponent, which would lessen some of the pressure. Now that Luo Di had acted against Mo Qingyun, he was undoubtedly forcing Mo Qingyun to stay and continue dealing with them. More importantly, if Luo Di was entangled, the pressure on their side would increase greatly. Luo Di ignored Luo Qinsha's shout. Perhaps in his opinion, dealing with Mo Qingyun was just a matter of time. Once he dealt with Mo Qingyun, he would deal with the other human experts. It wouldn't delay him at all. Seeing Luo Di attacking, Mo Qingyun revealed a mocking smile. "Putting aside your combat power, with your intelligence, I can beat you 5 times over. Even Luo Qinsha can see that there's no benefit for you if I stay. You're actually forcing me to stay. Are you a human spy?" Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the 9 evil tribe members' gazes changed as they looked at Luo Di. It had to be said that Luo Di's current action was a little too idiotic. Compared to the anger of the 9 evil tribe members, Ding Sun and the others were delighted. They were happy to see this. Luo Di's attack had not only created a powerful enemy for the 9 evil tribe members, it also made the holy glorious light that they took out even more valuable. Feeling the strange gazes around him, Luo Di was so angry that his face turned ashen. He said furiously, "Boy, wait until you die in my hands. Then you'll know whether you can beat me or not." As soon as he finished speaking, Luo Di threw a punch at Mo Qingyun. Faced with Luo Di's attack, Mo Qingyun did not retreat. Instead, he took the initiative to meet him. In terms of strength, he was not afraid of anyone. Moreover, although Luo Di was a god emperor, he had not been tempered by the laws. Peng! Mo Qingyun and Luo Di clashed head-on. Immediately, there was a loud explosion, and a storm of force was formed. However, in a head-on confrontation, Luo Di was actually blasted back repeatedly, suppressed by Mo Qingyun. Seeing this result, the surrounding people were shocked again. They found it hard to believe. This brother Mo's strength is so strong that it's unbelievable. Ding Sun was pleasantly surprised by Mo Qingyun's performance. He became excited. To him, the stronger Mo Qingyun was, the better. He would be of more help to them. Seeing Luo Di's performance, the 9 evil tribe middle stage god emperor's face darkened. He said, "Idiot, you can't do anything right. You're good at ruining things. The situation has changed. Let their tribe go first. We'll retreat." After that expert finished speaking, he stopped fighting with Ding Sun and led the 9 evil tribe members away. Hearing the leader's order, Luo Di showed an unwilling expression. He glared at Mo Qingyun and said, "Boy, you'd better wait quietly. Don't let me see you again in the Sacred War Continent." Luo Di left with Luo Qinsha and the rest of the group after throwing out these harsh words. Seeing the 9 evil tribe members leave, Ding Sun smiled and walked towards Mo Qingyun to thank him. Chapter 3407. Brother Mo, thank you for your help in repelling the 9 heavenly evil race. Ding Sun approached Mo Qingyun with a kind smile and cupped his fists at Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun waved his hand in response to Ding Sun's gratitude and said, "Brother Ding, there's no need for thanks. After all, I've received benefits from you." As soon as Mo Qingyun said this, Yan Chao, who had some opinions about him, said, "You actually used 10 days of glorious light to deal with a quasi-sage. You're not just receiving benefits, you're taking advantage of the situation." Ding Sun's face turned cold when he heard Yan Chao's words. He shouted, "Yan Chao, there's no need to be rude. Step aside." Yan Chao showed an unwilling expression when he heard Ding Sun's reprimand and walked to the side. After Yan Chao walked to the side, an apologetic look appeared on Ding Sun's face and he said, "Brother Mo, Yan Chao is a straightforward person. I apologize on his behalf. Please don't take his words to heart." "Brother Ding, you don't have to take it to heart. I'm a magnanimous person." Mo Qingyun waved his hand nonchalantly at Ding Sun's apology. He glanced at Yan Chao and said with a smile, "Besides, even if I'm taking advantage of the situation, what can he do to me?" Ding Sun was dumbfounded when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. Then, he looked at Mo Qingyun with a strange gaze. Mo Qingyun's words were too infuriating. Ding Sun was silent for a moment, then he couldn't help but sigh and say, "It seems that Yan Chao's impoliteness towards you was the correct decision." "Ha ha." Mo Qingyun laughed loudly and didn't show any displeasure. Mo Qingyun and Ding Sun joked a little, and their relationship became much closer. Ding Sun revealed a curious look and sized up Mo Qingyun a few more times before saying, "Brother Mo, you give me the feeling that you're a human. However, why do I sense the aura of the monstrous clan's bloodline on you? Furthermore, when you attacked earlier, you activated the bloodline of the Dark Heaven Holy Gate." At this moment, Ding Sun was extremely curious about Mo Qingyun's background. Hearing Ding Sun's question, Mo Qingyun thought for a while and smiled. "My background is a little complicated. I can't explain it clearly in a short time. To be exact, I am indeed a human. As for the power of my bloodline, I have received the inheritance of several seniors." After Mo Qingyun said so, Ding Sun showed an expression of sudden realization and roughly guessed the situation. Ding Sun sighed, "Brother Mo, even though I don't know what you've experienced, but from your words, I can guess that your experiences must be very rich." Emo Qingyun nodded with a faint smile and did not refute this. His experiences since his rebirth were indeed rich to the extreme. Even some old monsters who had lived for countless years might not be able to compare to him. After figuring out Emo Qingyun's background, Ding Sun struggled for a while before saying, "Brother Emo, since your essence is that of the human race, you and I can be considered to be of the same sect. We are both disciples of the Human Emperor sect. I wonder if you are willing to join the Human Emperor sect? If you are, I can ask for permission on your behalf. If nothing unexpected happens with your astonishing talent, you will be highly regarded by the sect leaders." After Ding Sun finished speaking, he revealed an expectant expression and waited for Emo Qingyun's reply. Under Ding Sun's gaze, Emo Qingyun considered for a moment and said, "Brother Ding, thank you for your kind intentions. I'm very satisfied with my current identity, so I'm not willing to go through any more trouble." Ding Sun's eyes flashed with intense disappointment when he heard Emo Qingyun's reply. However, Ding Sun did not mind and asked Emo Qingyun, "Brother Emo, why don't I see your companions? Did you come in alone? If that's the case, why don't you travel with us? We can take care of each other." Hearing Ding Sun's suggestion, Emo Qingyun revealed a grateful expression and said, "Brother Ding, I appreciate your kind intentions. My companions are cultivating in seclusion and my glorious light is about to be exhausted, so I came out to search for more glorious light. Now, since I have found the glorious light, I should hurry back to meet up with them." After Emo Qingyun finished speaking, he did not want to stay any longer and prepared to go back to find Kong Xian and Kong Xian. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Ding Sun no longer urged him to stay. He said, "If that's the case, I won't urge you to stay either. I hope that I can still meet Brother Emo in the Holy War Continent's Holy Glory main city." Emo Qingyun nodded and did not say anything else. He turned around and left. Seeing Emo Qingyun walk away, Yen Chao showed a dissatisfied expression and walked to Ding Sun's side and said, "Senior Brother Ding, why are you so polite to him? In my opinion, I should have come out with him and left that kid here." Ding Sun's gaze turned cold when he heard Yen Chao's words. He glared at him and said, "Yen Chao, if you don't want to die, you'd better put away such thoughts. Emo Qingyun is not as simple as you think. When I stood beside him, I clearly felt a strong sense of danger from him. I can guarantee that if we attack him, at least half of us will die even if we leave him behind." Yen Chao's face changed drastically when he heard Ding Sun's words. His eyes widened and he said, "Senior Brother Ding, it can't be as serious as you say, right? Is that kid really that scary?" "He's even scarier than I said." Ding Sun was stern as he gave Yen Chao an affirmative answer. He said, "It's a pity. His wings are already fully developed. It's probably impossible for him to return to the human race now." Ding Sun murmured to himself. He stopped thinking about it and continued on his way with Yen Chao and the others. Emo Qingyun split up with Brother Ding and the others. He hurried on his way at full speed to meet up with Qian Linglong and Qian Yuan. Emo Qingyun thought to himself as he hurried back, "I hope Linglong hasn't finished her cultivation and left with Ziyan." With this thought in mind, Emo Qingyun's speed unconsciously increased a little. Several hours later, Emo Qingyun hurried back to the top of the tribe's mountain. "Ziyan, I'm back. Has Linglong finished her cultivation?" Emo Qingyun shouted impatiently when he arrived at the top of the mountain. He hadn't even entered the hall yet. However, what surprised Emo Qingyun was that it wasn't Ziyan who answered him. Instead, it was an ugly face. "Emo Qingyun, you've only just returned. I'm afraid you won't be able to see your two little lovers." "Yao Xian, it's actually you. Where did Linglong and the others go?" Emo Qingyun's face turned cold when he recognized the person who had walked out of the hall. A cold light flashed in his eyes. Those fellows from the sacred clan of the bright heavens were really persistent. They were always bothering them. Yao Xian smiled coldly when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. Do you even need to ask? Chapter 3408. Very well, all of you can die now. After hearing Yao Xian's reply, Mo Qingyun decided to kill Yao Xian and the others regardless of whether it was true or not. Mo Qingyun shouted coldly. His figure flashed as he attacked Yao Xian and the others. Sealed door. After deciding to kill Yao Xian, Mo Qingyun did not hold back when he attacked. A dazzling door of light quickly formed in Mo Qingyun's hand and was blasted by Mo Qingyun towards Yao Xian. Yao Xian panicked when he saw the sealed door. He immediately shouted to someone, Yao Qi, help me block this superpower, and quickly retreat outside of the battlefield. After hearing Yao Xian's shout, a boundary god emperor youth immediately stood in front of Yao Xian. Then, the sealed door blasted into Yao Qi's body and resolved the crisis for Yao Xian. You actually came up with such a half-step technique. Interesting. Seeing Yao Xian and the others' actions, Mo Qingyun's eyes flashed with shock. He was a little surprised. Other than the person called Yan Shuyang on the Heavenly Soul Continent who had used the soul puppet to block it once, his attack had never failed. After asking someone to block the sealed door for him, Yao Xian sneered proudly and said, Mo Qingyun, although your superpower is powerful, I have already thought of a countermeasure. You won't be able to seal our cultivation. In front of us, you are nothing but a weakling. After hearing Yao Xian's words, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and said, Who told you that I can only seal it once? I also want to know how many people you have who can block my sealed door for you. Also, let me tell you one more thing. Even if I don't use the sealed door, I can still easily kill all of you. After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he took out 50,000 strands of nomological laws, and the aura that he exuded immediately soared. Heaven's Might Overlord Body. Heaven's Might Secret Skill. After activating the 50,000 strands of nomological laws, Mo Qingyun did not stop and used the Heaven's Might Secret Skill again. Immediately, thunderclouds began to gather above Mo Qingyun and the others. Seeing this scene, the expressions of Yao Xian and the others changed greatly, and a trace of panic emerged in their eyes. At this moment, a young man walked out from behind Yao Xian. He had a mocking expression on his face as he said, You really do have some ability. It's understandable that you, Yao Ning, and the others were defeated. As soon as he finished speaking, he turned into a shadow and flew towards Mo Qingyun. Seeing this person make a move against Mo Qingyun, Yao Xian did not dare to be the slightest bit negligent. He hurriedly said, Cousin Yao, this kid has a lot of tricks up his sleeves. They are very strange. You must not be the slightest bit careless. Hearing Yao Xian's reminder, that Yao nodded and said, Don't worry, as long as we avoid his sealed door, he won't be a problem. Boom boom boom. When Yao Lai attacked, bolts of lightning with threatening auras descended from the sky. Facing the bombardment of the lightning, Yao Si was not afraid at all. She easily defeated the lightning. However, while Yao Si could easily defeat the lightning, Yao Xian and the others could not. Under the attack of the lightning, Yao Xian and the others fell into a perilous situation one by one. Taisher Soaring Dragon Horse Transformation Technique. Facing Yao Qi's attack, Mo Qingyun did not fight to the death. Instead, he quickly dodged. After putting some distance between himself and Yao Qi, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and attacked Yao Xian and the others. Mo Qingyun's figure flashed, and he appeared in front of Yao Qi, punching out at him. Yao Qi's cultivation was not high to begin with, and now that his cultivation was sealed, his strength fell rapidly. At this moment, facing Mo Qingyun's attack, he was barely able to react. Cousin Yao Xian, save me! Facing Mo Qingyun's attack, Yao Qi's expression was flustered as he hurriedly asked Yao Xian for help. Unfortunately, Yao Xian's attacks were also unfathomable. To be precise, under the bombardment of the heavens' might secret skill, Yao Xian could not even protect himself. Bang! In a situation where there was no one to save him, Yao Qi was sent flying and his aura was weakening rapidly. Mo Qingyun's attack didn't slow down after he'd pushed Yao Qi back a bit. He continued to chase after Yao Qi and said, "Have you ever thought about who would come to save you after you blocked the attack for Yao Xian?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the people around Yao Xian revealed complicated expressions. The current situation was different from what Yao Xian had said. Previously, Yao Xian had told them that as long as they blocked Mo Qingyun's ability, Mo Qingyun would only be a piece of meat on the chopping block. However, in the current situation, even without the sealed door, Mo Qingyun was still terrifyingly powerful. Even with Yao Xian's intermediate Divine Emperor cultivation, he could not do anything to Mo Qingyun. This outcome was undoubtedly extremely terrifying to them. Even Yao Xian could not do anything to Mo Qingyun. When facing Mo Qingyun, they would not be reduced to being slaughtered. Go to hell. Mo Qingyun's figure flashed a few times before he arrived in front of Yao Qi and threw a punch. Seeing Mo Qingyun's action, Yao Xian, who was chasing after him, shouted with a black face, "Stop!" Unfortunately, Mo Qingyun did not care about his reprimand at all. Bang! Under Mo Qingyun's punch, Yao Qi's body exploded and he couldn't be more dead. Seeing Yao Qi killed in such a powerful manner, the people around Yao Xian immediately felt a strong sense of panic. "Yao Xian, how dare you lie to us? His strength is not like what you said. Run, we can't continue to stay here. Otherwise, we might all die. When we return to the clan, we have to report this matter." The few people around Yao Xian had a simple discussion, and then they ran for their lives like crazy. Mo Qingyun did not stop them from fleeing. He only stopped Yao Xian and said, "Now that they've all run away, tell me, who else can block the superpower for you?" When he heard Mo Qingyun's words, Yao Xian was so frightened that his face turned pale. His eyes were filled with terror. He clearly remembered that Mo Qingyun had not been so strong when they had last crossed swords. When he saw that Yao Xian was silent, Mo Qingyun's face turned cold. "Since you have nothing to say, I'll send you on your way." Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and he threw a punch at Yao Xian with the force of a thunderbolt. When he saw Mo Qingyun's action, Yao Xian was so frightened that his face turned pale. He quickly retreated and shouted, "Cousin Yao, save me." Yao Xian's face darkened when he heard Yao Xian's cry for help. "Mo Qingyun, if you dare harm even a hair on Yao Xian's head, even the elders in your clan will not be able to protect you." "Sorry, I'm not afraid of threats." Mo Qingyun responded indifferently to Yao Xian's words. His attacks on Yao Xian did not decrease in the slightest. Following that, Yao Xian senselessly blocked Mo Qingyun's attack with a strong sense of fear before he was sent flying by Mo Qingyun. After sending Yao Xian flying with a punch, Mo Qingyun's attacks did not decrease and he continued to attack. Chapter 3409. Bang! Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and arrived in front of Yao Xian. He punched out. Facing Mo Qingyun's attack, Yao Xian could not resist at all and his body exploded. With his body exploding, Yao Xian was scared out of his wits. His primordial spirit escaped in a panic. However, just as Yao Xian's primordial spirit escaped, Mo Qingyun's fist approached. Die! After hitting Yao Xian's primordial spirit with a punch, Mo Qingyun clenched his fist and erupted with a terrifying power. Then, Yao Xian's primordial spirit exploded and quickly dissipated in midair. Seeing such a situation, Yao Xian was stunned for a moment and felt a little disbelief. He did not expect that under his all-out attack, not only did he fail to take down Mo Qingyun, but he also killed a few of his clansmen. He would not dare to believe such an outcome if he did not see it with his own eyes. "Emo Qingyun, you're courting death!" Yao Xian shouted angrily and charged towards Emo Qingyun, emitting a strong killing intent. Facing Yao Xian's attack, Emo Qingyun was not afraid at all. He said coldly, "They are either dead or fled. You are the only one left here. It is indeed your turn." Sealed door. As soon as Emo Qingyun finished speaking, he used the sealed door and attacked Yao Xian. A wisp of a mocking smile appeared on the corners of Emo Qingyun's mouth after he blasted the door of seals away. He said, "Now that you've been polished, I'd like to see who can help you block the door of seals." Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Yao Xian's expression changed and a trace of shock flashed across his eyes. Under the intense anger, he had forgotten about this. Pucci! While Yao Xian was stunned, the sealed door turned into a stream of light and smashed into his body domineeringly. After being attacked by the sealed door, Yao Xian's pupils shrank and he could clearly sense the situation in his body. His primordial spirit, bloodline, law threads and divine power were all sealed by a force and his strength was greatly weakened. What kind of divine ability is this? It's so domineering. When he truly suffered the attack of the sealed door, Yao Kai clearly discovered how terrifying the sealed door was. Just as Yao Shui was feeling astonished, his cultivation began sliding down rapidly. In the blink of an eye, he had fallen to the early-stage God-Emperor realm. Early-stage God-Emperors can't even withstand a single strike. Sensing Yao's cultivation, Emo Qingyun chuckled softly. Mockery appeared in his eyes. "Yao, if you don't have any other trump cards, don't even think about leaving today." Divine Thunder Dragon Transformation Wave. As soon as Emo Qingyun finished speaking, he executed his sacred art and attacked Yao. Boundless divine power blasted out from Emo Qingyun's palm and fused with the 50,000 threads of law. Soon, a huge black lightning dragon formed above Emo Qingyun. Roar! As soon as the black dragon roared, it turned into a black shadow and pounced toward Yao Fei. Facing Emo Qingyun's attack, Yao didn't dare to be careless and immediately used his ability to block it. Holy Healing Heaven Sacred Gate. Facing the lightning black dragon's attack, Yao didn't dare to be careless and immediately executed his innate sacred art. Soon, a white door of light appeared in his palm and flew into his body. After using his innate sacred art to protect his body, Yao didn't hesitate and charged toward the black dragon. Great Light God Execution. As Yao charged toward the black lightning dragon, he used his palm as a knife and attacked it crazily. Facing Yao's all-out attack, the lightning black dragon was forced to retreat continuously. The attacks were blocked by him. However, Yao paid a huge price to block the lightning black dragon's attack. Under the lightning black dragon's attack, there were many hideous wounds on Yao's body. Looking at his current state, he wouldn't be able to hold on for long. "It seems like you've exhausted all your abilities. I'll have to send you on your way then." Emo Qingyun was worried about Qian Linglong and Qian Linglong. Therefore, he didn't want to waste any more time with Yao and charged toward him. Seeing Emo Qingyun's action, Yao's face darkened and a strong sense of viciousness arose in him. He said, "Emo Qingyun, it won't be that easy for you to kill me." As soon as Yao finished speaking, he closed his eyes and entered a state of prayer. Soon, a holy and vicissitude aura erupted from his body. When this power erupted, Yao's aura also rapidly aged. Not long after, a huge whirlpool of light door appeared in front of Yao. His sacred art seems a little like the gate of reincarnation. Seeing the whirlpool of light in front of Yao, Emo Qingyun's eyes flashed with surprise. He was very surprised by this situation. Under Emo Qingyun's astonished gaze, the corpses of the Holy Light Heaven Sacred Gates people were rapidly sucked into the whirlpool. Immediately after, a powerful aura erupted from the whirlpool of light. As soon as that aura erupted, Emo Qingyun saw a tall figure walk out of the whirlpool of light. Late God Emperor. Emo Qingyun was startled when he sensed that powerful aura. His expression turned grave. He hadn't expected that the fellow summoned by Yao would actually be so powerful. While Emo Qingyun was astonished, he also felt a sense of relief. He said, "Fortunately, Yao sure used this kind of mystical power. He paid a heavy price. Otherwise, I would have been in a bit of trouble facing their combined attacks." Samsara Battle Spirit, kill him. After summoning Lin Hui's Battle Spirit, Yao ordered it to attack Emo Qingyun. After giving the order, Yao turned and fled. He didn't dare stay any longer. His strength had been greatly reduced. If he continued to stay, he would be in great danger. "Yes, Master." Hearing Yao's order, the Samsara Battle Spirit responded and charged towards Emo Qingyun. Seeing the Samsara Battle Spirit attacking, Emo Qingyun didn't dare to hesitate. He quickly condensed a door of light in his hand. Seal. After condensing the sealed door, Emo Qingyun blasted it towards the Samsara Battle Spirit to weaken its strength. The Samsara Battle Spirit didn't dodge the sealed door's attack. It allowed the sealed door to strike its body. But what surprised Emo Qingyun was that when the gate of sealing crashed into the Samsara Battle Spirit's body, it didn't weaken its strength at all. "This is troublesome. I can't fight it head-on." Seeing that the sealed door didn't have much effect, Emo Qingyun frowned. He wasn't willing to fight it any longer. He still had to find Qian Linglong and the other girl. He couldn't waste too much time here. Soon after, Emo Qingyun turned and prepared to escape from the Samsara Battle Spirit. Seeing that Emo Qingyun was about to leave, the Samsara Battle Spirit hurriedly chased after him. Emo Qingyun wasn't surprised that the Samsara Battle Spirit chased after him. He used all his strength to try and shake it off. Following that, Emo Qingyun and the Samsara Battle Spirit chased each other, shuttling through the Holy War continent. Chapter 34:10. Even though the Samsara Battle Spirit had a high cultivation, Emo Qingyun's speed was much faster. Hence, it could not catch up to Emo Qingyun. Of course, the reason why the Samsara Battle Spirit could keep trailing behind was because Emo Qingyun did not use the teleportation gate. If Emo Qingyun used the teleportation gate, he could easily shake off the Samsara Battle Spirit. The reason why Emo Qingyun did not say this was because he was worried that he would be teleported too far away by using the teleportation gate. At that time, it would undoubtedly be more troublesome for him to summon Qian Linglong and the other girl. Other than that, Emo Qingyun was also worried that if he used the teleportation gate to shake off the Samsara Battle Spirit, what would happen if Qian Linglong and the other girl encountered him? If nothing unexpected happened, Qian Linglong might have suffered some injuries after leaving the Tribe Mountain. Even if they were not injured, given their strength, it would be hard for them to fight against a late-stage God Emperor Samsara Battle Spirit. "Linglong, where exactly are the two of them?" As Emo Qingyun rushed forward, his mind was spinning rapidly. He was trying to guess where the two girls went. Not long later, Emo Qingyun had traversed more than 100,000 kilometers, yet he still did not discover any traces of the two girls. Accurately speaking, other than the Samsara Battle Spirit behind him, Emo Qingyun did not see anyone else. After searching for a while, Emo Qingyun changed his train of thought. He thought, "Oh right, I know where to find Linglong. Could they have come to find me? If that's the case, they should be escaping towards the southwest of the Sacred War continent." The moment Emo Qingyun thought of this, he no longer hesitated. He immediately turned around and rushed towards the southwest. As for the Samsara Battle Spirit chasing after him, it also turned around and chased after Emo Qingyun. Following that, Emo Qingyun frantically rushed towards the southwest under the pursuit of the Samsara Battle Spirit. As Emo Qingyun continued rushing, he finally met some people. He did not know where they came from. "Look, that's a Samsara Battle Spirit. Someone is being chased by a Samsara Battle Spirit." The people of the Radiant Heavenly Holy Clan have to pay a huge price to use the Gate of Reincarnation. He actually forced the Radiant Heavenly Holy Clan to such a state. To be able to summon a reincarnation battle spirit of a late-stage God Emperor, it seems this person found has an extraordinary status in the Bright Light Sacred Clan. They're coming our way, retreat. Seeing Mo Qingyun approaching them, the people who were discussing were frightened. In their opinion, Mo Qingyun's actions were to share the pressure of being chased by the samsara battle spirit. Please wait a moment, I have something to ask you. Seeing those people running away, Mo Qingyun smiled bitterly. He didn't expect this to happen. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, one of them said coldly, "You can ask, but you have to keep your distance from us. Otherwise, even if we know, we won't tell you." Hearing the other party's words, Mo Qingyun retreated without hesitation. As Mo Qingyun distanced himself, the expressions of those people relaxed. One of them said impatiently, "Speak, what do you want to ask?" "I want to ask if you have seen the two ladies. They should look like this." The moment Mo Qingyun's words came out, the few people were stunned. They were stunned by Mo Qingyun's question. They truly didn't expect Mo Qingyun to ask such a question. After a moment, Mo Qingyun finished describing the appearances of the few ladies. He discovered that their reactions were not right. He said, "Could it be that you have met them? Could they be in danger?" In Mo Qingyun's opinion, the reactions of these people were not right. Qian Linglong and the other lady might be in danger. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the few people knew that Mo Qingyun had misunderstood. Soon after, one of them smiled bitterly and said, "Brother, we don't know if the ladies you mentioned are in danger. However, we know very well whether they are in danger or not. At this point, you actually still have the mind to think about the ladies. You're too careless." Hearing their words, Mo Qingyun was speechless. He didn't ask them anymore. From their reactions, Mo Qingyun guessed that they hadn't seen Qian Linglong and the other ladies. Mo Qingyun's questioning was fruitless, so he quickened his pace and rushed forward. As for the samsara battle spirit behind him, it followed closely behind Mo Qingyun. Seeing this situation, those people stopped in their tracks and looked at Mo Qingyun in shock. At this moment, they admired Mo Qingyun to the extreme. Being chased by the samsara battle spirit like this, Mo Qingyun was still very calm. This was really impressive. A few days passed very quickly. During these few days, Mo Qingyun had been chased by the samsara battle spirit and hadn't even been able to rest. Of course, Mo Qingyun didn't dare stop to rest before finding Qian Linglong and the other lady. After running for a few days, Mo Qingyun realized a problem and said, "It's not a good idea to keep running like this. Although the samsara battle spirit can't do anything to me, my glorious light is being consumed. I have to find a way to replenish it." Under normal circumstances, Mo Qingyun wouldn't have been worried. If he ran out of glorious light, he could slowly search for it. However, the situation was different now. There was a samsara battle spirit behind him. It wouldn't be easy for him to search for glorious light with peace of mind. "I have to deal with the guy behind me." Mo Qingyun made a decision in his heart. He began to look for a tribal territory and choose a place to deal with the samsara battle spirit. Just like this, Mo Qingyun ran for another day and finally found a tribal territory. This was a well-preserved tribal territory. "This is it." After confirming the location, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate and flew directly to the tribal mountain top. Seeing Mo Qingyun land on the mountain top, the samsara battle spirit hurriedly followed and soon flew to the top of the mountain. Sure enough, its spiritual wisdom is endless. Seeing the samsara battle spirit's actions, the corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth curled up slightly, revealing a faint smile. Immediately, his figure flashed and landed on the ground at extreme speed. Divine Thunder Dragon Transformation Wave. When Mo Qingyun landed, he unleashed a mystique and blasted it toward the samsara battle spirit. Soon, a huge black dragon formed above Emo Chingyun and flew toward the Samsara battle spirit. At this moment, when Emo Chingyun made his move, a group of familiar figures rushed up the mountain. Brother Emo. When the leader of the group saw Emo Chingyun at the top of the mountain, he immediately revealed a pleasantly surprised smile. This person was naturally Ding Sun of the human race. Ding Sun didn't expect that he would meet Emo Chingyun here. However, when Ding Sun greeted him, he mainly saw the Samsara battle spirit in midair. What shocked him even more was that Emo Chingyun actually bombarded the Samsara battle spirit and aroused the tribe's guardian progenitor battle spirit. This is too big of a gamble. Seeing Emo Chingyun's actions, Ding Sun was stunned and hurriedly stopped in his tracks. The situation at the top of the mountain was too dangerous. They couldn't go up. They couldn't afford to join in the fun. Chapter 34:11. It's actually that brat. He is actually being chased by the Samsara battle spirit. Is he crazy? He blasted the Samsara battle spirit into the air. Wouldn't that incite ancestors' battle spirit? This brat is truly a madman. If he is attacked by the Samsara battle spirit and the primogenitor battle spirit, he would definitely die. Seeing Emo Chingyun's actions, the group of people around Ding Sun revealed a look of shock. An early-stage God Emperor came to the side of Ding Sun and asked, "Senior apprentice brother Ding Sun, no matter what, he did help us previously. Should we help him?" Hearing the words of this young man, Yen Chao did not wait for Ding Sun to reply. He had a look of dissatisfaction. "Senior apprentice brother Ding Yu, that brat helped us previously and extorted a large amount of sacred glorious light from us. We don't owe him any favors." Hearing Yen Chao say this, the others nodded. They felt that Yen Chao's words made sense. Ding Sun originally wanted to persuade Yen Chao against his suggestion. But in the end, he did not say anything. He had already raised his suggestion. As for how Ding Sun would decide, it would depend on Emo Chingyun's fortune. Ding Sun hesitated for a moment before making a decision. The Samsara battle spirit and the primogenitor battle spirit are extremely strong. They have both reached the late-stage God Emperor realm. You guys won't be of much use. All of you stay here. I'll go over to take a look and see if I can help bring brother Mo out of this place. As soon as Ding Sun finished speaking, he flew towards Emo Chingyun without waiting for anyone to speak. Very soon, Ding Sun arrived at the mountain peak. He came to the side of Emo Chingyun and said, "Brother Mo, we meet again. Let me lend you a hand." The moment Ding Sun finished speaking, he acted against the primogenitor battle spirit. He was prepared to share the burden of Emo Chingyun. Seeing this action of Ding Sun, Emo Chingyun was startled. He hurriedly said, "Brother Ding, hurry up and retreat. Don't act against the primogenitor battle spirit." Ding Sun's sudden action gave Emo Chingyun a headache. His plan was disrupted. He had awakened the primogenitor battle spirit to help deal with the Samsara battle spirit. If Ding Sun was entangled with the primogenitor battle spirit, wouldn't be wasting his efforts. Why? Hearing Emo Chingyun's words, Ding Sun was somewhat puzzled. He felt that his brain wasn't enough. However, after thinking about it, he quickly retreated. He had a vague feeling that Emo Chingyun had asked him to do this for some reason. Then, Ding Sun rapidly drew back, breaking free from the attack of the ancestral battle spirit. Door of Calamity. Seeing Ding Sun withdraw from the battle circle, Emo Chingyun no longer hesitated and immediately launched an attack on the Samsara battle spirit. Soon, a door of light shining with bloody light shot out from Emo Chingyun's palm. Puchi. Facing the attack of the Door of Disaster, the Samsara battle spirit also didn't resist. It allowed the Door of Disaster to bombard it. After being attacked by the Door of Bloody Calamity, the aura emitted by the Samsara battle spirit underwent a change. His originally sinister and violent aura seemed to have become gloomy and weak. Even his battle prowess seemed to have weakened. What a strange supernatural ability. Seeing Emo Qingyun make a move, Ding Sun's expression was startled, and he had some doubts. He said, "The supernatural power that Brother Emo used just now doesn't seem to belong to the Dark Heaven Holy Clan. He's really becoming more and more mysterious." Under Ding Sun's curious gaze, Emo Qingyun's figure flashed. He brought the Samsara battle spirit into the air. Roar. As Emo Qingyun and the Samsara battle spirit approached, the ancestral battle spirit roared and rushed towards the Samsara battle spirit. Seeing the ancestral battle spirit's performance, Emo Qingyun revealed a pleasantly surprised smile. "It's a success. Like this, it'll be much easier to deal with the Samsara battle spirit." Emo Qingyun was secretly overjoyed. He didn't delay any longer and immediately rushed towards the Samsara battle spirit. Using the strength of the ancestral battle spirit, Emo Qingyun easily crushed the Samsara battle spirit. In the blink of an eye, he had wounded it. Seeing this scene, Ding Sun was stunned where he stood. He felt that this wasn't real at all. This is also possible? Ding Sun's heart was on the verge of collapse. He felt that his worldview had been greatly impacted. The ancestral battle spirit that they had all avoided had actually become a powerful helper in front of Emo Qingyun. No wonder he brought the Samsara battle spirit here. He deliberately awakened the ancestral battle spirit. At this moment, Ding Sun had a clear understanding of Emo Qingyun's thoughts. At the same time, he also admired Emo Qingyun to the extreme. He could even think of such a method. "It looks like there's no need for my help." Seeing Emo Qingyun's situation, Ding Sun couldn't help but sigh. He slowly flew towards Ding Yu and the others. At this moment, Ding Yu and the others at the foot of the mountain were all shocked as they saw Emo Qingyun's actions. Ding Yu exclaimed, "This Sir Emo Qingyun is truly a heaven-gifted genius. To think that he could think of such a method to deal with the Samsara battle spirit chasing after him." Hearing Ding Yu's words, the others nodded. They also thought so in their hearts. Seeing that everyone admired Emo Qingyun, Yen Chao felt a little indignant. He said, "This is his good luck. If his plan had failed, the outcome would have been different." Ding Yu didn't agree with Yen Chao's thoughts. He said, "Regardless of whether he succeeded or not, his courage and his wonderful ideas are something that we can't compare to." Looking at the two arguing, Ding Sun waved his hand helplessly. He said, "Stop arguing. Since Brother Emo is fine, let's leave this place." "Leave?" Hearing Ding Sun's idea, Yen Chao was shocked. He felt a strong sense of reluctance. He said, "Senior Brother Ding Sun, this tribe's mountain is well preserved. There might be treasures left on it. If we leave like this, wouldn't that be letting that kid take advantage of us?" Hearing Yen Chao's words, Ding Sun revealed an unhappy expression and said, "Yen Chao, this tribe was found by Brother Emo first. Now that he's fighting with the primogenitor battle spirit, how can we take advantage of his precarious situation? Furthermore, if you dare to go up now, you won't even know how you died. The ancestral battle spirit and the Samsara battle spirit are both late-stage god emperors. They can easily kill the few of you." After being reprimanded by Ding Sun, Yen Chao didn't dare to speak anymore. He felt some lingering fear in his heart. He had forgotten about this point. Don't think too much. Since Brother Emo arrived first, this place will belong to him. After reprimanding Yen Chao, Ding Sun walked down the mountain and continued searching for new opportunities. Seeing Ding Sun's actions, Ding Yu and the others hurried to follow. They soon left the mountain. After Ding Sun and the others left, Emo Qingyun immediately sensed it. He had a better impression of Ding Sun. He thought, "This Ding Sun is not bad. Not only is he loyal, he's also very principled. Perhaps I can befriend him." Chapter 34:12. The aura of the primogenitor battle spirit is still very strong. It can't kill the reincarnation battle spirit yet. Feeling the aura of the primogenitor battle spirit, Emo Qingyun slowed down his offense. He was not in a rush to kill the reincarnation battle spirit, because the moment he killed the reincarnation battle spirit, the primogenitor battle spirit would lose its target and turn to attack him. Emo Qingyun was unwilling to accept such an outcome. Following that, Emo Qingyun maintained his control over the situation. At the same time, he consumed the strength of the reincarnation battle spirit and primogenitor battle spirit. Time passed bit by bit. Several hours later, under Emo Qingyun's careful maintenance, the strength of the primogenitor battle spirit and reincarnation battle spirit had been weakened to the extreme. Currently, the primogenitor battle spirit and reincarnation battle spirit could only exert strength at the early stage God-Emperor level. Emo Qingyun could easily suppress this level of strength. It's time to deal with them, Emo Qingyun decided in his heart. He no longer held back and attacked the reincarnation battle spirit with his full strength. Following Emo Qingyun's full-strength attack, the body of the reincarnation battle spirit was almost instantly blasted apart. Not after a short while, under Emo Qingyun's attack, the reincarnation battle spirit was blasted apart, completely disappeared from the world. Following the death of the reincarnation battle spirit, the primogenitor battle spirit lost its target. It then charged towards Emo Qingyun. Since the reincarnation battle spirit has been destroyed, there is no meaning for you to stay any longer. Seeing the primogenitor battle spirit attacking him, Emo Qingyun revealed a faint grin on his face. He frenziedly attacked the other party. Without the primogenitor battle spirit, it was much easier to deal with it. In less than 15 minutes, Emo Qingyun had forcefully destroyed it. The trouble has finally been resolved. After dealing with the two battle spirits, Emo Qingyun let out a deep breath. He felt much more relaxed. Emo Qingyun rested for a moment before looking at the nearby Great Hall. I wonder if anyone from this tribe has stepped into this place and taken away the treasures. Harboring an intense expectation, Emo Qingyun walked into a great hall. The moment Emo Qingyun entered the great hall, a dazzling light came from the center of the great hall. Looking over, one could see a huge lump of light in front of a huge statue. So much brilliant light. Seeing battle spirit light. If I fuse it into my body, I should be able to fuse it into my body. Even if I stay in the Sacred War continent for a month, I might not be able to finish consuming it all of it even if I stay in the Sacred Continent for a month? With this thought in mind, Emo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately began to collect the holy light. Emo brilliant light was battle spirit light battle spirit body. Is battle for me? For it. Emo Qingyun was pleasantly surprised as he looked at the brilliant light battle spirit body. He looked at the other palaces and said, "The first palace is already a huge harvest. I wonder what the other palaces will have?" Emo Qingyun quickly walked to the other palaces with a strong sense of expectation. He began to search them. To Emo Qingyun's disappointment, there were no treasures left in the other palaces. To be exact, there was not even a bit of brilliant light. Even if there was, it was very little. There's one last palace left. I hope it won't disappoint me. Emo Qingyun muttered to himself. He walked into the last palace with a strong sense of expectation. Emo Qingyun walked into the palace. The structure and layout inside were different from what he had imagined. This seems to be a treasure. Looking around the palace, Missouri Qingyun guessed the purpose of the palace. He became even more interested in it. I wonder if there are any cultivation manuals left in this palace. Emo Qingyun was still very lacking in cultivation methods and abilities. He only had the divine lightning dragon transformation wave and the dark demonic dragon's sky-devouring roar. More importantly, these two abilities were both long-range attack. There were some drawbacks. Emo Qingyun walked to the second floor of the palace with curiosity and expectation. He searched the palace seriously. The second floor was not very big. There were only a few bookshelves with a few old books on them. These books had been weathered due to the passage of time. Emo Qingyun touched them and they turned to dust. They fell from the bookshelves. Emo Qingyun was somewhat disappointed. He looked at the third floor and said, "There's still the third floor left. I hope it won't be the same as here." Emo Qingyun muttered to himself. He came to the third floor. The space on the third floor was even smaller. There was only a desk, a bookshelf, and a few chairs. Emo Qingyun glanced around. He found that the desk was messy, as if it was caused by someone in a panic. It seems that when the owner of this palace left, he was already in a state of panic. Looking at the situation on the desk, Emo Qingyun thought for a moment and roughly guessed the situation. Under Emo Qingyun's observation, he walked to the desk and casually picked up a brush. Clang! As soon as Emo Qingyun touched the brush, he clearly felt a sharp aura attack him. He saw that the originally plain brush, under the touch of his hand, actually burst out with a sharp sword-like aura. What a powerful brush! Sensing the aura emitted by the brush, Emo Qingyun was shocked. In terms of power alone, this brush's huge power is not weaker than Kongran's god-slaying blood demon sword. With this thought in mind, Emo Qingyun picked up the brush and began to study it carefully. This is just an ordinary brush. The reason why it's powerful is because the person using it is powerful. After observing the brush for a while, Emo Qingyun had a clear understanding of its strength. He said, "Once the energy gathered on it is exhausted, it will become an ordinary brush." Although the brush was not a divine weapon, Emo Qingyun did not care and put it away in his storage bracelet. Next, Emo Qingyun picked up the other things on the desk and observed them one by one. They were similar to brushes. They had been used by powerful people for a long time and were stained with a touch of aura that did not dissipate for a long time. After putting away the things on the desk, Emo Qingyun looked at the bookshelf at the side but saw that it was empty. It seems that this is the only opportunity in this treasure. With this thought, Emo Qingyun did not want to stay any longer. He turned and prepared to leave. Just as Emo Qingyun turned and was about to leave, in the corner of the bookshelf, an ancient book attracted his attention. This book must have been accidentally left behind when the owner of this place left. Emo Qingyun thought to himself. He walked towards the book and carefully picked it up. Emo Qingyun was very worried. Like the books on the second floor, it turned to dust as soon as he touched it. 9 Heaven Battle Cultivation Technique. When Emo Qingyun held the book in his hand, the words on the book entered his eyes. Chapter 34:13. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Please wait for a moment. After the content has been updated, please refresh the page to receive the latest update. Chapter 34:14. Translator. Nyoibo Studio Editor. Nyoibo Studio. Please wait for a moment. After the content has been updated, please refresh the page to receive the latest update. Chapter 34:15. Run that way. Emo Qingyun's figure flashed and appeared in front of Kuei Ying and the others, blocking their way. Blocking the path of Kuei Ying and the others, Emo Qingyun blasted out a palm strike. Divine power madly converged on his palm. Immediately, this divine power fused with the threads of law and blasted towards Kuei Ying and the other two. Boy, you're courting death. Facing Emo Qingyun's attack, the trio was furious, gnashing their teeth and roaring. Although they were angry, they had to admit that they had been stopped by Emo Qingyun. Immediately, the trio attacked with all their strength, bombarding the approaching Thunder Dragon. Door of Calamity. After using the Divine Thunder Dragon transformation wave to block Kuei Ying and the other two's path, Emo Qingyun did not stop and continued to attack the three. Soon, a door of light with flowing blood light condensed in Emo Qingyun's hand and bombarded Kuei Ying. Facing the attack of the Door of Calamity, Kuei-ing was almost unable to react and was blasted into his body. Under the attack of the Door of Calamity, Kuei-ing frowned and a touch of surprise flashed in his eyes. He vaguely felt that under Mo Qingyun's sudden attack, he seemed to have suffered an attack. But he found that he had not suffered any harm, he just felt that something was wrong. Roar! Before Kuei-ing could react, the ancestor fighting spirit pounced on him, crazily attacking him. Seeing this situation, Kuei-ing's expression tightened and his face became livid. The ancestor fighting spirit had been awakened by Mo Qingyun, but it attacked him and ignored Mo Qingyun. This result really made him depressed and gave rise to a strong sense of grievance. Seeing this result, Kong Luo'er in the hall was pleasantly surprised, and a strong sense of excitement emerged in her eyes. This guy is quite smart. He knows to use the power of the ancestor fighting spirit. However, it is also very dangerous to do so. Fortunately, he is lucky. It's just that, although Kuei-ing is entangled, with the powerful strength of Kuei Lu and the others, it will not be easy for him to deal with them. Thinking of this, Kong Luo'er's heart was filled with worry, and her pretty face became tense again. Under Kong Luo'er's gaze, Mo Qingyun glanced at the trio and then turned his head to look outside the hall. Let's rescue Kong Luo'er first, ask about the specific situation, and then deal with them. With that thought in mind, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and he appeared outside the hall. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, the trio's expressions changed greatly, and they hurriedly said to the people at the entrance of the hall, "Be careful, that boy is coming, he wants to attack you. He's going to attack." Upon hearing Kuei-ing's warning, the group of people from the Sunflower Heavenly Sacred Gate immediately resisted Mo Qingyun's attack. Soon, a mysterious light door of light appeared in front of them. Once these light gates were formed, figures walked out of them one after another, heading towards Mo Qingyun. Break! Facing the incoming figures, Mo Qingyun did not avoid them at all. Instead, he began to attack them in a domineering manner. Under Mo Qingyun's powerful attacks, the shadow warriors charging at him were blown apart one by one. However, what gave Mo Qingyun a headache was that every time he killed one of these shadow, a few more would walk out of the light door. It felt as if there was no end to it. Looks like I really won't be able to get rid of you guys if I don't use some vicious moves. Seeing this situation, Mo Qingyun did not waste any time and immediately used Heaven's Might secret skill. Immediately, dark clouds began to gather in the sky above the mountain, and a terrifying aura and majesty erupted. Seeing this situation, everyone from the Heavenly Holy Gate was shocked to the point that their expressions changed drastically. This is the Heaven's Might secret skill. This brat actually has the Heaven's Might tyrant body. Hurry up and stop him. We can't let him use the Heaven's Might secret skill. Kuei-shin, Kuei-lei and I will hold back the primogenitor's battle spirit while we deal with that brat. Seeing Mo Qingyun using the Heaven's Might secret skill, the people of the Sunflower Dew Heaven Holy Gate immediately became flustered. Kuei-shin's figure flashed. He arrived in front of Mo Qingyun and slapped his palm towards Mo Qingyun. Facing Kuei-shin's attack, Mo Qingyun was not afraid at all. With a disdainful expression, he said, "You think too highly of yourself if you think you can fight me head-on." After exchanging blows with the people of the Sunflower Dew Holy Gate a few times, Mo Qingyun had a basic understanding of their methods. The most troublesome part of the Sunflower Aqua Heaven's Holy Clan was that they could constantly summon projection clones to fight with the enemy, slowly exhausting the enemy's strength. Therefore, if one wanted to kill the people of the Sunwater Heaven Holy Gate, they had to first eliminate their original bodies. From the exchange just now, Mo Qingyun discovered that the human body of the Sunflower Dew Heaven's Holy School was not too strong. His situation was similar to that of the Bright Light Heaven Holy Gate. He specialized in healing and healing. As such, why would Mo Qingyun feel fear when facing Kuei-shin's attack? Pung! After exchanging blows with Emo Qingyun, Kuei Shun was directly sent flying. His arms were trembling from the impact, and several parts of his body were injured. Seeing such a situation, the people of the Sunflower Dew Heaven Holy Gate all revealed shocked expressions. With Kuei Shun's early-stage God-Emperor cultivation, he was actually suppressed by Emo Qingyun in a direct confrontation. This brat's strength seems to be so strong that it is frightening. The situation is not good. Seeing Kuei Shun being sent flying, Kuei Ying's expression turned ugly. Anxiety rose in his heart. Even Kuei Shun was not a match for Emo Qingyun, much less the other clansmen. Under his anxiety, Kuei Ying's figure flashed as he charged towards Emo Qingyun, ignoring the attacks of the primogenitor battle spirit. Facing Kuei Ying's attack, Emo Qingyun did not meet it head-on. Instead, he chose to retreat. Emo Qingyun dodged several times, avoiding Kuei Ying's attack and pulling away from him. Since Kuei Ying's attack failed, he did not dare to pursue because the attack of the primogenitor battle spirit had already arrived in front of him. If not for Kuei Lu sharing the burden, he would have been sent flying by the primogenitor battle spirit. Hong Dong Dong. At this time, Emo Qingyun used the Heaven's Might secret skill, sending down terrifying thunder. Seeing this, Kuei Ying did not hesitate. He immediately shouted to the clansmen, "Kuei Shun, bring everyone back. Don't care about the girl in the hall. Kuei Lu, we will cover everyone's retreat. Retreat to the bottom of the mountain and wait for them." At this moment, Kuei Ying understood that with the interference of the primogenitor battle spirit, they could not do anything to Emo Qingyun. Moreover, once Kong Luo'er left the hall, their situation would be even worse. Alright. Hearing Kuei Ying's instructions, Kuei Shun was unwilling, but he still brought everyone back. Not long after, the clansmen of the Sunflower Aqua Holy School had all retreated from the mountain peak. Seeing their clansmen leave, Kuei Ying and Kuei Lu no longer hesitated. They also retreated down the mountain peak. As Kuei Ying and Kuei Lu fled, the primogenitor battle spirit lost its target. Its attention fell on Emo Qingyun. Following that, the primogenitor battle spirit roared and charged towards Emo Qingyun. Chapter 34:16. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Please wait for a moment. After the content has been updated, please refresh the page to receive the latest update. Chapter 34:17. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Please wait for a moment. After the content has been updated, please refresh the page to receive the latest update. Chapter 34:18. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Please wait for a moment. After the content has been updated, please refresh the page to receive the latest update. Chapter 34:19. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Please wait for a moment. After the content has been updated, please refresh the page to receive the latest update. Chapter 34:20. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Please wait for a moment. After the content has been updated, please refresh the page to receive the latest update. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.